We're going. It's happening.
I think I'm muted.
Hi, welcome to Star Wars. Okay. Wrong lever.
Yeah,
See, people will actually get that joke because Lucky's rolling video. And Axe is chopping dice into dice
Even
guacamole.
smaller dice.
Sorry.
You're making a sound which sounds distinctly like you're slapping your dice bag on a table.
Oh, I think that was the microwave.
Your microwave sounds like
I have no idea.
wild. Anyway, we're here for Star Wars times. Destiny's rolled. You should be able to see it all. Still be all on screen. Obligation and duty were rolled. Hey, guess what? It was nothing. Oops, it's nothing.
Oops, all nothing.
Sorry about that. Little burpee there. Okay.
There we go.
These guys will prepare to talk about what they did with EXP last time because they did stuff. So I will remind you that this episode is brought to you by patrons like Adam DeHarp, Arco Comics, Architect 10, Black Carlos, Qua, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jonathan Sandoval, Kylie Dent, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Region Raptor, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Soda Son over 2 for 723, and Zach Reed. If you like we do want to see more, consider Patreon. You can get access to episodes early on, so I get your help with that. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
I believe I did spend XP, but I said it at the end of the last session, and I think I just got. It was either melee or brawl up to 3.
It was
That's
Brawl.
what
I
did.
remember that.
Okay, thank you, Lucky.
It was Brawl. I knew it was a skill. I was like, what skill was it again?
I remember it was Brawl because I was immediately thinking, maybe he doesn't want to get knocked the fuck out next time.
Yes.
I think I got range light to 3 and outer rim to 2.
That sounds about right.
Okay.
Tab anymore?
Did you
Anybody
get
else?
anything, Marth?
I got up to the manipulate control power that allows me to add foresight to mechanics.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah, manipulate's cool.
And also that one thing before that, which is just commit 1 foresight, any damaged weapons count as undamaged.
Oh.
So one specific damaged item, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's not how math works. Spreadsheets. So what I did is I bought knowledge warfare up to 2. Yay.
Hey.
Alrighty, so when we last left off, you guys were enjoying your lovely snowfield trip. Definitely not any kind of mission for survival or anything. It was really cool and relaxed and great, and everybody loved it. And there were ice armored ferrets. It was great. But no, actually, where we ended last time was you guys had been tracking for basically the better part of a day. What looked like a Nomad vehicle, which was cruising around because you guys wanted to find some local assistance, get some pointers, maybe interact with the locals, hearts and minds, and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of, in the late morning of your second day, basically, you caught up to this vehicle, and it was spied through Camo's electrobinocs because he can do that. It appeared to be broken down in front of you and smoking slightly, as if from a fire. And that is basically where we've left you guys. You are, not too far, probably in terms of like range bands, probably like stop at about like long range, I think is the point where you can see things with your eyes, at least with electrobinos. So it's up there. Because this came up in a discussion previously, so the ice crawlers are not unified vehicles. That's just what they call their vehicles, But this particular crawler appears to be a vehicle probably on similar scale to your own Juggernaut. Maybe a little shorter. No observation tower or anything sticking out way up. But instead of rows of wheels, it looks like it has 4 caterpillar-type treads. So it's got, snow treads going on. And also appears to actually have been maybe 2 chassis attached together with a reinforced little accordion bridge, so it's a little flexible.
Oh,
but it looks like it's about, like I said, probably about, what's it, the Juggernaut? Still 4 or 5?
Does
I think it's still 5.
it is
Is it?
still 4. It's still 4.
Okay, 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's probably about that silhouette in rough shape and size. Just a cursory examination around you before you guys decide to do anything else. You don't really notice anything else is the thing. There are some snow drifts or banks kind of around it. In the distance, you can probably see the outlines of some of the occasional sporadic mountains. It has been observed that this region does have occasional rock outcroppings, low mountains, low hills, a few old seamounts or extinct volcanoes. So there's a couple of those in the distance, but nothing else really going on. And now this is the next day, so I don't think anybody's done any like major checks to like define the weather. So it's probably a little overcast right now. What are you doing?
So we see smoke, we see
Yeah.
some snow drifts, but we don't see anybody moving.
Yeah.
Well, I should
No,
say,
there,
Probably-
at least from a cursory examination, there
Just
appears to be
from-
no movement.
Yeah, from where we are, so
We should probably at least get closer so we have a
Okay.
better.
Well, let's
reveal.
move in. Let's move in low and slow.
yeah.
All right, you're gonna dismount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna move tactically. Are you perhaps moving sneakily? Or do you just want to go like low and slow, no sudden movements?
Where did we see where the smoke was coming from again?
Well, so with Camo's or is it macro binoculars you got? You got some kind of binocular setup. Anyway,
Binocs.
when he
Macro.
looks through those,
Macro.
oh, you're just muttering to yourself, Axe. What?
Macro binoc, sorry.
Okay, yeah, macro binoc. He says with a mouthful of food.
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 Food up.
It's a recurring theme based on our usual game time. Yeah, so through binocular enhancement, he can actually look up, and there appear to be a couple of small fires, like something, obviously with some kind of accelerant, was pulled out onto the ice and set on fire. Like maybe some burning bits fell off the crawler, or, somebody started a campfire, maybe. I don't know. But there is definitely several small to medium-sized plumes of smoke rising directly from the vehicle. Again, these things are not exactly built on a pattern, so it's hard to tell from this distance, like, is that somebody left their hot plate on, or did the fuel tank burn up, or what? You don't know. Like, you cannot tell from this distance because there's no way you guys are familiar enough with this type of vehicle.
Okay.
I'm
why I thought
actually
we should at least-
pretty sure that's literally a talent known schematic.
Yeah, it is.
So unless one of you happens to have that, you can't really
Yeah.
guess from this
Yeah,
distance.
that's why I think we should
Yeah.
at least get closer to at least assess
Yeah,
it better.
so just no sun movements or more like sneak.
Well, let's sneak, but let's not take everybody. Let's leave a few people with the vehicles just in case, because I don't want to have to. In case everything's fucking K. I don't want to have to go on it. So let's leave Skirk, Europa.
Yeah, Europa is not built to sneak.
Yeah.
and me.
Well, actually, you might be a better sneakman than I may be. What's your agility at?
I also do want to point out, Boots is your squad medic. If there's a crisis up there,
True.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely.
actually, you know what? I'm gonna hang back. So I think Boots, Camo, and Wevuguk should sneak on up and see what it is, and we'll hang back.
all right.
Okay. And oh no, Marth isn't the leader. Let's go. What could go wrong?
All right. Well, I would like the forward team to go ahead and roll me an. At the moment, let's say this is a pretty generic. Go ahead and roll me an average stealth check. If you guys don't have any protections, do make sure to impose up to 2 black dice for the current outdoor conditions.
I think all of us had the protection, so
Yeah, thermal cloak.
because it's cold and there's snow. There's some wind.
I still take 1 black.
Okay.
Oh, the thing doesn't do like cover 2. It only minus 1.
No, only removes 1.
What does? Oh, your.
My armor, my snow.
Yeah, he's wearing
trooper
clone
armor.
snow armor. On the other hand, other than maybe the like single stripe of teal or whatever at his like visor or shoulder pads, I'm gonna guess that unless Camo is literally turning on his camouflage, Boots probably blends in the best.
Yeah. Plus 2 blues to resist cold, remove 1 setback imposed from cold environment.
I have weirdly imaged that the Trailblazer custom almost has like the weird like laminate as like the weird like polylaminate, but in the
Nice.
form of like the fucking octopus, the freaking octopus like skin thing from like 4.
Well, you have optical camouflage installed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's stealth camo from MGS, not octo camo, but like the actual stealth system. So you just become translucent.
Yeah. Okay.
Now you need
And
is a head-
everybody looks like they do okay.
Now you just need a headband with the symbol with the infinity symbol on it.
Good ammo. I mean, there's a talent for that. All right. So, all of you successfully sneak. Shocking nobody. Boots is not a great sneakman, but he is still a clone trooper, so he knows how to move tactically over terrain. Boots, you probably have to move the slowest to actually stay stealthy, but you are sufficiently sneaky. Anybody not looking directly at you won't notice you're coming. You know, you don't crunch your boots, you don't slip, you don't cause a weird profile that would be noticed, anything like that.
Okay.
Wevu is moving a little bit faster. You've got some advantage. You probably once again go down on all fours to create a low profile and just kind of lightly step gently across the snow, keeping a low profile, keeping out. Camo is literally invisible. He just, doesn't make any sudden movements and tries not to make a shitload of noise, and he's fine.
It's the fucking like MGS4 like speed crawl.
Yeah, no. Like, honestly, you probably don't even have to, with that much success, you probably don't, and the systems you've got, I should say, you don't even have to speed crawl. You can just do full, like, tactical crouch move and just be like, while crouching, I don't make any noise. And also, I'm invisible. So, as yonder dudes approach, you approach in the yonder way. You know what, I'm just going to keep on here, and I'm going to mute the server if people are going to talk in, like, 5 different channels. I mute my own server for 8 hours. Let's see if that works. So, you guys scooch on up. Probably, at least going at a stealthy pace, you probably take between 5 to 10 minutes. Aramaa, you can probably track their progress decently enough from where you are because you know where they're started, though you may lose track of them now and again as they like cross between snowdrifts or Boots passes in front of a piece of snow and you lose his outline and then you pick him up later, kind of a thing. So as you guys approach, you notice some obvious things. Several as you get up, there are several off-white or otherwise, vaguely snow-colored objects. These appear to be bodies, human bodies, lightly snow-covered. Either they were standing around or pulled out of the wreckage to fall. There are also a couple of a handful of score marks on the ice, scorches, burns, stuff like that. Some of the smoldering piles appear to be piles of rags or supplies or something, or just inconvenient areas that look a little scorched. So, and you guys can see, like I said, the ice crawler standing above you. It's parked slightly askew, so it looks like it was in the middle of a turn before something failed. You can see that there's clearly some kind of cabin or cockpit at the front. You know, it's got like a wide viewport that looks out. There's a couple of ladders hanging down. It does look like there is a loading ramp so that they can actually like carry cargo up into it on the back half, right? But that ramp, just from a cursory examination, that ramp looks a little like askew, like maybe it was deployed rapidly. And
from just how much snow's on the bodies, and then like.
Oh, all right. You guys want to do CSI shit? Okay, everybody, roll me hard perception.
All right.
You want facts? Give me rolls.
All right. Here we go.
As you know, Camo, make sure to squat down and double check. Okay, all right. Well, good thing you've got Farsight.
Huh.
Ooh, wow. Okay, that's
That's
surprising
just-
from Camo. You got a couple advantage though. We can do something with that. Okay. All right. Wow. Interesting. This is
It's
very
all
weird.
range.
These results. All right. Okay.
Assuming, yeah, it's perception. I still take the 2 blacks but -1, so that's why I put in a setback.
I mean, yeah. There's stuff like blowing sand and glare, and the cold is distracting.
Yeah.
We should see if we can find you a body glove, Boots.
Yeah, you could just ward it under his armor.
Yeah, I know, but again, Loth never mentions this stuff.
Hey,
No.
I mean, he picked up the free armor.
Yeah.
It was free.
Basically,
like the
I'm
more
throwing...
ideal option probably would have been to secure him a heating system for his normal armor, but that would have required an extra setup.
This is basically Boots going, yeah, I'll be fine with just this, and it's like, this was a bad idea.
Well, I'm actually kind of surprised on some of those checks because you're a clone trooper. You don't have like something to cancel out more of those, but that's probably only just like
I got outdoorsman.
athletics, I guess,
from-
and stuff.
It's
Yeah.
I got outdoorsman from like.
Clone troopers get boost to resilience and athletics.
Now,
veteran-
if you
veteran
have to make a check to resist the cold with your boosts and your armor, you're gonna probably do better than some of these fools
I
on
think
your
I've
resilience
got...
check. But
I think
At
I
least-
have the heating system in my thing too.
I have at least... I'll have it... Blah, blah. I will have at least 4 boost die for that.
all right, okay, so threat but try. Very interesting result.
I'm just amazed by my roll a bit. It's like, damn.
Yeah, no, these are some interesting stuff. Okay. So Boots fails with threat, but with a triumph. So all right. Let me double check my notes here. What sort of stuff you've got going on. All right. Okay, I got it. We'll start at the bottom in terms of severity of failure to success. Boots, you look around. You realize these guys are all dead. Your assistance is no longer needed here. Cool. You decide to go into the crawler to check to see if anybody's alive. Utterly ignoring any and all further clues outside.
Sounds very Boots.
However, you do immediately you walk up the ramp right into the you would guess the back half of this ice crawler is utilities, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah,
There's cargo space and stuff. Immediately behind the ramp, you see what looks like almost an old-fashioned space bulkhead door, like a ship door with like turning and unsealing. You notice that it is unsealed and smoke is pouring out of it. You believe you found one of the sources of fire here. The engine room appears to have been something. Cool, great. Hopefully you can fix that. Camo, you're looking around. You're trying to like figure out how long has it been since these people have been here, what killed them, etc., etc. Camo, this is where you remember. Actually, that's a good question. Camo, do you have any points in medicine?
I think I actually have some. Let me just check because I know they used to have.
Yeah, double
one.
check because I don't want to give an incorrect impression.
I have at
when
least a
narrating
point in
yourself.
medicine. Yes.
Okay, so you're trying to look for like wounds and stuff and time of death, and then you remember from your like basic first aid training. wait, I can't calculate time of death because it's really fucking cold out here.
Yeah, it was more trying to like estimate snowfall, but yeah.
So like you look at the snowfall and you're like, but then you remember that it was clear most of yesterday, so it's like, okay, so it probably wasn't yesterday, but also it didn't snow yesterday. So what if it was 2 days? Like, you go into a little bit of a thought hole, and you can't come to any conclusions about that. However, while you are thinking about that, you kind of do that, stare off into the middle distance, rub some snow dust between your fingers, and in your sight line, you happen to notice that in addition to some, like I said, obvious, like, probably blaster scoring, and maybe even some small explosive detonations, like you're seeing small craters in the snow, in the surface of this ice crawler. You also spot a long scorch mark across the ground, like at least a couple of meters, probably more like 3 or 4 meters of just blackened ice and melted smooth.
Like something jet blasted off or just exploded into
Yes,
one
and then
direction.
you look up at the side of the crawler and you see like 2 also like 3 or 4 meter long just scorch mark lines. That could only be made by either like jet propulsion or somebody starting a chemical fire.
In one of those cases, that's more rare in this kind of area.
Yeah. So, Wevu actually perceives correctly, thanks to the power of the Force. So you go around checking around, you double check everybody. All of these look like local nomadic humans. Their style of clothing and dress looks similar to that guy Aramaa fished out of the ice hole, right? You do not spot any unusual corpses, like, hey, a foreign guy or something, an obvious alien wearing modern gear or anything. You yourself also, because you got like one advantage at least on that check.
Yeah.
You yourself also notice those scorch marks. But as you're walking around, you're checking these guys out, and you think, based in your estimation and just this niggling little bit of insight you have, that these people were probably defeated, or killed, I should say, just today, you'd guess, judging by like snowfall and windage. You're walking around and you're double checking, and you notice a pair of, or a line of, some footprints, which lead up to one of those, like I said, those long melt marks in the snow and ice, right? Actually, it would probably even be, at some points, it would probably even be like these furrows that go down that couple of inches and actually like eat through the permafrost into bedrock or topsoil at points. But you notice some familiar footprints. These are the kind of light, boxy feet of probably a battle droid.
Oh. Okay, so from this, I'll just like do the whole hit constant, is like touching, is like Aramaa.
You find anything?
Yes, familiar. Found what looks to be the prince of a battle droid here.
Any survivors?
She looks at one of the bodies, like, apparently not, because I don't see any other footprints. At least that are leading away from here.
Well, let's be thorough. I'll bring everyone up and we'll do a full search.
All right. Hey, Aramaa.
What's up?
Give me an average vigilance check.
Average vigilance.
What's Kirk's vigilance? Actually, also, I'll roll for her really quick. Rolling. I got a vigilance 1. It's a yellow green.
No, I don't add force to vigilance. I add force to resilience. Do I add anything to it? Wait, no. Hang on. I feel like I do. I got a niggle. Where is it?
Oh, okay. So that actually means that Skirk does not fail because she got success advantage, and I rolled failure threat on the dice. So I got 2 advantage left over at least.
No, I guess I don't, actually. Weird. I thought I did have some for vigilance, but guess not.
I would be very shocked if you don't have something in vigilance.
Well, no. I meant I don't have any bonuses for vigilance.
Well, that is a little harder to come by. I mean, technically, is heightened awareness vigilance and perception checks?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
might
yeah,
have a
that's
boost
right.
from that.
So,
Yeah, you should have a boost from that one.
Yeah, so see
It'd
if
be
you
2,
get
right?
anything from that.
Yeah, roll a single your boost die to see.
A
All
Okay.
right, good
double
advantage, but you still failed the check, so you can flip
Still-
the dark side.
Yep.
All right. Well, I like this. I'm okay with you failing because it's funny. Because what happens is basically you say that right to your head comm like your comm link. All right, I'll bring everybody up, and then behind you there's a dramatic chick. Hold it right there. Nobody move.
Aramaa will put her hands up.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. You're all very cooperative and stand there and do nothing. After a slightly awkward pause there,
Mm-hmm.
You hear sounds with your Jedi ears that sound like like somebody's like waving around like their gut or something. Like, all right, now turn around slow.
I'll do so.
Okay. You turn around, you see. It's a little hard to tell because they're fully buttoned up, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like a local nomad type person wearing, snow jumpsuit, full hood, goggles, face covering.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of really old style, clearly been through some work, like bolt action slug thrower held together with some space tape.
Oh.
Kind of holding it kind of underslung on the arm, not, at point, but enough that at this range, you probably don't want to take a hit.
Probably not.
At the very least, you might crack some ribs.
Ow.
And just kind of holds the weapon on you and kind of pivots back and forth between the three of you.
Mm-hmm.
And funnily enough, you sent all your clone troopers away, so you guys look like some snow randos right now.
Yeah.
And is just like, all right, what's the meaning of this now? Kind of jerks her head over at the flaming crawler.
Aramaa kind of looks over and's like, and just goes, meaning what? We just arrived here.
No, you just arrived here, huh? That also doesn't tell me anything helpful. You better start explaining yourselves real soon, or I'm gonna.
How far is this person?
Several strides. They have a long arm, so they're not like right up behind you. No, you're talking probably mechanically short range, but probably like 5 meters away, like not enough you can do a reach out and touch.
Can't Aramaa punch at short range?
I mean, Aramaa, yes, could air punch, but
Yeah, no. That's not great for first impressions.
We would
I know.
absolutely have to roll some dice because Aramaa would have to like do some, space kung fu to do that too. So
space kung fu. That's like, well,
half circle back B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there's not much to tell. We were following these tracks because we're new to the area and wanted to get some information. We saw smoke from the horizon, thought maybe something was afoot, and some of us stayed back while a few of us investigated.
It's hard to tell if somebody's narrowing their eyes behind snow goggles, but there's a silent pause of steritude.
Yeah.
You suspect there may be some narrowed eyes, and just kind of calls out behind her briefly. All right, Lynn, cover the side. From behind a snowdrift, another, you would guess maybe younger looking. This person sounds like an older female human, probably.
Question mark?
So another cloaked, another, fully buttoned up figure, tall but a little gangly, not fully filled out yet, pops up. He's got his own, beat up looking rifle, kind of pops up from behind the snowdrift and kind of vaguely aims it in the direction of the crawler and says, "Got it, Mal." And the person says, "All right, new folk aren't very common around here."
No.
Got here, you just got here.
No. Look, we camped last night at the Traveler Shrine, I guess. And we set out.
Not for anybody but me.
The what? Can anyone hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear.
We hear you fine.
Omega?
Break up for anybody else.
No?
Hang on.
Dear Discord, light up.
Discord.
Hi?
Oh, no, but it's Omega.
Oh,
Omega?
Why am I showing? No, don't show that, you dumb fuck. Let me
Hey.
out back in, you idiot. You.
Apparently he's being an animal.
All right, okay. Well, it just it switched me over to fucking camera view as I'm trying to connect and disconnect. Hello.
Hello.
All right, we'll
Yeah.
do this in order. Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Can you also hear everybody else?
I think
Yes.
so.
Okay. For me, Lucky was breaking up a little through that,
Ah.
and then there was a lot of confusion because I couldn't get you guys to respond to me properly. All right, I think we're fixed now.
Okay.
Lucky, would you please repeat what you said to the nice gun lady? Because I lost some of that.
Aramaa just has her hands up and she sighs. It's like, look, we have no idea what happened. We camped at the shrine last night. We fished a body out of the water. I punched a damn...
Oh, fuck, what were they called?
Ice
What
Fisher.
are they called? It's like
Ice Fisher, yeah.
Ice
Axe at it.
Ice Fisher. And we're just trying to find some people to find some information about the area.
Okay, I would like you to make me a. You're pretty good at this, and these people are naturally suspicious. I would like you to make me a hard charm check. Please add a single setback die for being weird. Basically, you're being weird right now to these people.
I am weird.
So yeah, go ahead and add a setback die because your situation is inherently suspicious to this nice lady with your fancy bikes and whatnot. They're not used to new people up here.
Don't blame
That
him.
said, this should probably be pretty easy for you.
That's what I do.
It's kind of like that perception check. We'll see how it goes. Huh.
Interesting. Okay.
Wow.
Once
This keeps
again,
happening, huh?
Wow. Okay, this is second roll, second clearing.
second almost complete wash, except for the power of force.
I'm a little concerned.
2 success then.
2 success.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
All right. You feel like your argument is doing nothing but confusing this poor woman, but somehow just your natural good positive vibes, man, are able to get her to kind of get the impression you're not a bad guy. And she just says she kind of looks at all of you very suspicious, Skirk has basically been standing there with one hand up and the other hand against her own rifle strap.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of looks at all of you and is like, All right, well, hell, we're not gonna get anything done standing around here. She kind of waves you for it. All right, come on, let's go up to the crawler. Kind of waves ahead. Y'all don't mind if I ask you to go first, of course.
No, don't mind at all.
All
But
right.
we'll take
She kinda...
the speeders up as well.
Okay. All right. Hmm. I think, yeah. If you go to like get on a speeder, and she's kind of like, no, none of that. Well, you guys gonna rocket out of here without so much as a goodbye? No, you can walk them. Don't fire anything up. Just trying to think how they react. No, they're not gonna let you get on your bikes and blaze on out of here. That would be weird. But you can. They're repulsor vehicles. You can like grab the handlebars and push pretty easy.
All right.
All right. Behind you, she kind of try not to whistle into the mic, and the other one, she called him Lynn, kind of after a half second, kind of right, yep, kind of sidles back up. She kind of keeps her weapon, unslung but not pointed at any of you. Aramaa, you've got a pretty good body score, right? Like a brawn?
Yeah. Bronze 4? Yes, bronze 4.
Okay. Europa's only brawn 2, so she's the lowest. Does she have any like athletics or anything?
Mm-hmm.
No. Okay. So obviously you have 3 bikes, you have 3 pushers. Between you and Skirk, Europa starts to fall behind a little, and like after a couple of paces, this nomad woman kind of like gestures him and like, gestures a kid to like hang on. So he goes up to Europa's and grabs the other handlebar and starts pushing. Slings his rifle. And so you guys slowly approach. Well, not slowly, but you set a decent walking pace. So basically, you guys are all probably calmed in. So you guys would have heard Aramaa's conversation to basically be like, "All right, we'll move up," and then you wait, and then you wait some more. What are you guys doing while waiting?
Yeah, I know. Way to come to my rescue. Thanks.
Wait, hold on.
Where?
Now I have.
What?
Hello?
Was
Oh,
I
did we
doing
lose people again?
Well, no, it was just like you responded like people were saying something. I wanted to double check.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so
Axe does exist.
Weva's currently like looking at least looking the direction with electro binocs.
All right. Well, so you scope up, and you see why they're being a little slow. It looks like there's 2 more people with them, and looks like similar gear to what these nomads are wearing. One of them is walking behind, got an unslung rifle, but like I said, she's not pointing it at him anymore. And the other one is helping Europa push up one of your bikes. Why on earth they're not just driving your bikes, you don't know. But anyway, it's what you see with your eyes.
Yep. And while that's happening, I'm assuming that Boots would have called up Camo to be like, hey, I think we've got some engine fire in here. I can't quite tell.
Yeah, I think I typed earlier where it's like, that I assume the 2 of us were probably just actually trying to figure out what was going wrong with the engine.
Okay, so
Okay, yeah, I see that now. I scrolled up. All right, so yeah, so Wevu waits outside and scopes in. The two clones are inside. Basically, Camo, you're just gonna pop open the engine room door.
Yeah, it's just.
All right, so there's a little bit of as you let some of the smoke out. You look in. It's got like the most primitive piece of crap petroleum burning and internal combustion engine you've ever seen.
Most analog shit I've seen in years.
Yes, but it's big, and you're sure it's got the horsepower this thing needs to spin those tracks. If you had to guess, it looks like somebody probably like maybe fired some shots in here. Maybe tossed a little casual grenade action. Some of your pipes and valves and shit have ruptured, and you probably need to like go over to there's a big big bank of valves and gauges. You probably need to like turn everything off, shut this thing completely down, and then do a cold
This
start.
is maybe like a shot in the dark, but considering how I've dealt with a lot of saboteur, or at least a bunch of like droid assault squads, does this almost feel like standard crash and destroy procedure for them?
What's your knowledge warfare rating?
2, I think.
Okay, without needing a roll, while it isn't exactly like the smash and grabs you have seen the enemy produce, this is absolutely reads like a fucking, blitzkrieg type raid, like fast assault outside. Uh, actually, as you're looking around, you probably actually see some like small holes or dents in the outer fuselage into the engine room, right?
Mhm.
Maybe even some damage to some of the exhaust pipes. Like they've got some big, muffler pipes that normally dump this output smoke outside. Like if you had to guess, it probably sounds like maybe somebody like dropped a grenade in an exhaust pipe from outside, and that really fucked this up. So they had to stop, and then when they stopped, everybody either poured outside because their ride was on fire, or somebody yanked open the ramp while this thing was still in motion and boarded. So yes, this absolutely looks like, because you guys have fought criminals and cultists and professional militaries, this absolutely looks like some military black ops type shit.
Yeah, like only
Um, and
theorizing, but it
and
might be there's some probably some, like searcher groups.
with
around.
your mechanical experience and your demolition experience, like I said, you probably want to go in there, turn off all the gauges, shut everything down, because like honestly, you probably hear a little put like this thing
Yeah,
has maybe still been idling, just slowly chewing through its reserve fuel.
yeah, we should probably stop that to make sure nothing goes more
All
worse.
right, so you guys are busy, turning knobs, flipping levers, shutting everything down.
Yeah.
Wevu, you had a thought on being outside,
Yeah.
so
She just. I was okay. Well, at least I see them, so I'll just do like. Hmm. What do I
you
use?
have the farsight power for.
Yes. For medium distance, let me check.
Okay, I was just because the basic power is seeing far, right? Picture.
Far side distance is spelled. The basic power is specs for darkness or blindness. See normally up to 9 range.
All right. Okay. All right.
But then the control for that is making out fine details on a single object within medium range.
All right. Okay. So you could probably do that, but you also just have binoculars. All right. So you kind of just watch their approach. They get there
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
Aramaa and crew, you ride up to Wevu. Aramaa, you can now see the high level details that these guys noticed. Some obviously some battle damage. You see maybe half a dozen bodies on the ice. You see fresh footprints of what looks like one standard issue clone boot and one customized some air camo special sneak boot. Actually, honestly, he probably doesn't leave much of a boot print. Camo does, but you it looks like at least one set of standardized clone boots went up into the rig, and Wevu is just kind of standing there.
Yeah.
Your new friend kind of looks Wevu up and down and says, "Damn, you really are not from around here."
Yeah.
You guys can probably hear some talking outside once you shut the engine off.
Yeah. I'll just like. I'll just calms the two clones like. Boots, Camo, get out of here.
Oh, yeah. Give us a second. We're just shutting this off and making sure it's not wasting any more fuel.
All right.
There's a blast of steam in Boots' face.
Ah!
It
I
does
think that
nothing
got
but
it.
look cool.
I think that got it.
Yes. Wevu, meet my captors. Captors, Wevu.
Well, it makes it sound downright unkindly.
I mean, you
She
did point a
will
gun at
shoulder
me.
her rifle and say, "All right, well, since we're here, I'm Isma DeMarcus. It's my son Lynn." Kind of looks up and down. I'll spell that for you. Isma Marcus.
Mhm.
Her son is Lynn DeMarcus.
Mhm.
Lynn. She kind of looks around and just lets out a quiet sigh and probably some archaic dialectic curses.
File those away for later. It's never bad idea to know how to swear in other languages. But
Like, you're pretty sure at one point it was a cuss in Basic, but it's probably been drifting for the past... How long has it been so colonized? Like 500 years?
yeah.
Linguistic drift, everybody. Dialects. Isma definitely speaks Basic with what you have come to understand is the local Soholiv dialect.
That's
Kinda
Soholiv
like-
twang.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
so
Thank-
twang.
Arctic Twain.
Kind of be like, oh, hell. You leave for one day. Lynn's just
Okay.
kind of standing there shaking his head, and he's like, I don't rather know what happened, Ma. And she's like, well, of course we don't. Come on. All right. Well,
Oh,
strangers.
Oh,
I guess this will be a good time
I
for
assume it's-
Camo and I to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys walk down the ramp.
mm-hmm.
There's kind of a pivot, and like, what on earth? And Lynn actually pipes up and says, "Wait, Ma, I seen these in hollows. I recognize them. Those are clone troopers.
yeah.
Ah,
You know."
Yeah,
well,
well,
let's
it was
look up
just
too early when
pipe up, but now it's like, yeah, we're part of the Republic Army here.
when Isma went, what the? I would have been like, look, I know Camo's not much to look at, but he's not that bad.
You could still get your one-liner out.
Yeah.
Let's
But,
just
Yeah,
say
Isma kind of pivots and like turn, crooks ahead at you and Wevu and Anna is like, well now,
Oh,
y'all
I
are
guess-
them Republicers then?
Oh, I guess
Yes.
introductions are in better place. I am General Jedi Knight General Aramaa of the Grand Republic Army. Over there is my sister in battle, Wevu, also a Jedi Knight. And over those two chuckleheads are Camo and Boots, some of my closest, I guess is the best way to put it.
howdy.
All right.
We do
Well,
the best.
at this point, she's already shouldered her rifle. Where Isma will like extend a hand to Aramaa to shake. A big mitten,
Mm-hmm.
and then shake and says, "Well, sorry about the problem earlier. You can understand why we were a little on edge."
Well, no, we saw this from a little while away, and we got a little on edge too. So no, it's understandable.
Might not be the most
I will
opportune
say,
time.
I haven't seen any Jedi in my time, but I must say, y'all did not look much like them, though. Looks everybody in the party up and down. I will say, at least you dressed appropriately for the climate.
If there was a Jedi walking out here in their basic robes, I'd give them a clap and a medal because holy crap.
I
That's
think
some
all three of the actual Jedi should just pause and just be kind of like, yeah, Because while I do believe that for the actual, like, a couple of Ice Planet episodes, some of the Jedi, like, put on some stuff. Also, sometimes that's just, like, I think in the weird, like, Moon of Pantora episode, Ahsoka, like, just puts on a fur-lined cloak. Like, and puts on some long johns under her normal outfit. Like,
She probably
it's-
bought the talent that used to have environmental resistance, but probably yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah.
But Aramaa will just kind of gesture to this. Like, I'm assuming you knew these folk.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. She gestures over to Lynn. That says, it's her son. I'm a hunter by trade. Move around from crawler to crawler where they need supplying with food, training, scouting. Been with this one about 6 months. These were mostly merchants and techs by trade. Oh, there was about 2 or 3 families in there. All right, come on, Lynn, let's get inside. If I'm the last, if we're the last ones left, then I guess we should offer you some of our hospitality at least.
Well, let's follow him in.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys clatter in. She leads you through the back half section. The smoke is now dissipated since Boots and Camo have shut off the engine. You guys walk through what looks like a combination of a large storage and workshop area.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Big workbenches, lots of like hanging cargo netting and cargo boxes. some of which are clearly like mismatch or were added later. Like you guys probably don't have any idea what this hull used to be. Like, it doesn't look exactly like it was a purely custom build, but this was very clearly like adapted from something.
It was retrofitted.
Yeah. So like they took a chassis from something, maybe an old freighter cargo module, or hell, it could have been like there are like rovers and crawlers for like mining planets or like airless moons. This may have been adapted from, but it's clearly been modified, possibly over years, to like fit its current design. She takes you out of the back half, which, like I said, looks like mostly service and technical components, engine room, etc., workshops, stuff like that. You go through the little accordion bridge into the front half. And through both halves, you guys unfortunately do pass by what looks like another probably... Let me actually double check my notes.
This is unfortunate. Probably would have liked to meet these people.
Probably like another half dozen dead. And walk around inside. You guys find also more, battle damage and stuff.
This is
and,
probably not the best way to phrase this, General, but yeah, this looks like it's a usual like military smash and break, or just smash and destroy.
Yeah, I don't think Wevu had time really to point out the marks outside, but you can cross check them later. Eastman kind of takes you into what looks like a common area, kind of in the front pod. You guys pass by some what basically look like there are probably a couple of private quarters, maybe for like older senior families, but there's a lot of like open rack space, cots, etc. There is at least one poor son of a gun who looks like they were taking a nap and got shot or stabbed in their cot, in their hammock, stuff like that. But she takes you up to a common area. There's a big round table. There's actually a skylight you guys didn't notice before. It looks like it's been cracked in though. It wasn't made of like armored transparent steel or anything. Bits of crystalline glass are laying on the floor, or some kind of maybe clear plastic. But it's next to a little kitchen area, it looks like, and just kind of Eastman kind of sweeps some of the glass off the table and takes one of the seats and says, lights a little and yeah, probably it could be a fusion lamp. It's probably like an older model, more simple, but it's along the same principle. It's electrical. She like plugs it in and fires it up, so you've got a decent amount of light and heat. Pulls back her hood, flips her goggles up. You weren't wrong. You'd guess she's probably in her... It's a little hard to tell because obviously it's hard living out here, but you'd guess that she's probably in her middle to or it's okay. She's in the mid to late middle age, as it were, which can be a broad spectrum of ages for humans. Lin, drops his hood and whatnot, and looks younger, probably like mid to late teens. Still growing in. She tells Lin to go double check if they got any water left to boil. Make some calf or something. Check the supplies. And we can probably like exposit most of this out. Right. But Isma will basically recap her past couple of days. Probably 3 or 4 days ago, their crawler eyeballed, because they've got like their own scopes and non either simple electronic or purely mechanical binocs and stuff, telescopic sights and things. They eyeballed a passing free range herd of tundra striders. Possibly even for all you guys know, maybe even the herd that Skirk caught her spare out of a while ago.
Oh, okay.
But so it was time to stock up on food and meat, and actually she's probably got a sling bag of a couple of cut steaks of her own that that goes in an ice box. simple refrigeramatron or whatever. Or whatever we call it. It's not 40K, so it's not a refrigeratorium or whatever, but it's something, some
It's
weird
probably just
space
an actual
name.
fucking icebox. I mean, they literally.
I mean, true. They probably wouldn't do something electronic because that requires like refrigerant chemicals. When
The most thing they
free
probably
ice.
got is actually like metal lacing to the box so it doesn't break when you.
Yeah,
drop it or
no, it's
something.
probably literally
Yeah.
just an icebox that they just
Oh,
make sure
they
to
call
stuff.
it a conservatory. It's conservator.
Conservatory.
Yeah, they have an ice box that like goes in. So basically, you know, she's busy raising and training her son to, you know, reach his adulthood or whatever for the Nomads. So they went on a little 2-man hunting trip. Make sure he, you know, he's got all the tools of the trade, the tricks down.
Mm-hmm.
And they were gonna meet up later. So the crawler was, you know, kind of slow rolling, spinning around, you know, taking a wide berth so they could catch up later on foot. And they just happened to catch up today. They weren't actually supposed to meet them for another couple of days because they were following. They note the stuff you passed, you know, the well, the shrine, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, they probably might even have split at the shrine. You know, that was a few days ago. And basically recount their whole thing. Isma said it earlier. She is kind of ironically a nomadic nomad. It's not uncommon for specialists to move around between crawlers and vehicles as you need. So this crawler, like she said, was mostly traveling technicians and merchants. You know, they would meet up with other caravans or crawlers and like help them with repairs or maybe trade them some supplies they need. You know, back and forth, or they would, you know, move around from like what limited natural resources there are and produce some simple arts, crafts, technical stuff. You know, when after she dropped some of their heavy carry when they saw the smoke, but because it'll keep, it's fucking snowing outside. But she'll have to send Lynn back later. They've got like, you know, a roll bag full of Tundra Strider skins they were ready to cure into some wool and stuff. So, I don't want to like portray these people as like insensitive or anything, but it's harsh living out here. It's not uncommon for people to die. Like when you recount the story of the guy you fished out, and I didn't write his name down because I didn't even know if you guys would hit that vignette, but she probably recognizes him and is like, oh, that's a shame. It's a bad way to go, eaten by an ice fisher. But it's just, you know, part of life out here. The being mobbed in your own crawler by fighting is kind of unusual. She says, if you guys ask her about it, it's not unusual for there to be skirmishes between springfolk and nomads. Like she says the usual kind of thing, you know. Sometimes you take a Tundra Strider from a herd that's not free range, or sometimes some nomads will come along and they'll siphon off some of your crude oil for a candle or something. Or
It's
the
like
usual thing with cultures, you know, a nice young springfolk, a nice young nomad lad or lass will see a springfolk they like and bring them onto their crawler, and sometimes the folk in the village object. The usual way things get settled.
usually things of yelling and some shots fired, but usually no one dead.
Well, also, even if there are casualties between nomads and springfolk, that's, you know, compound bows and slug throwers, right? Occasionally gets settled with an ice knife or an ice axe kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, like no actual grenades and shit.
No. In fact, Isma probably hasn't seen an actual grenade in her life ever. There are a couple of like really experienced nomads out here who have some like well-maintained antique blasters. But even for the nomads who are very, very big into jury rigging and very technical people, keeping those things running for possibly hundreds of years is tough.
Yeah.
And they, especially with Sohilov being the way it is, it's not easy for them to get replacement parts anyway, even if there was a frickin' like giant suspension bridge that led across the channel back into the Sohilov mainland. It would still not be easy for them to come all the way down to a population center and being like, "Hey, y'all got some blasters down here?" So,
Yeah.
this is highly unusual. And what she mentions to you is that last time they parked in a convoy, they because obviously being like I said, a traveling and trading, a specialist pack. They're not just like family units who move from food source to food source. They will occasionally like get up in little caravans or little meet and greets. She says that last time they parked, probably 2 or 3 months back, she started hearing rumors about people talking about metal men. And just the other week, Lynn pipes up. He says, "Just the other week, I heard a story from old Tammy boy. He was minding the radio one night. Hey, turns out they have radios, BT dubs. He heard the strangest darn thing. It was like a series of like clicks and clacks. It wasn't like people speaking. And he talked to old man. He mentioned some guy who was basically the radio technician, right? Like he specialized in electronics and comms on this rig. He said that it was encrypted. So it sounds like there's been some weird things going on.
Oh. Well, but didn't you say
I wonder
you
if
saw
we can find-
some tracks out there?
Yeah, I was just like mentioning like boxy looking tracks that looked like a droid of some kind. Bell droid.
Oh, we can't go from one end of this continent to the other while we're running into fucking clankers.
Yeah, and it also doesn't help this whole thing look like a whole clanker job of like cause some explosion outside, everyone forces to go out, and then you shoot them all down, and then probably blow it up so they can't like do anything about it. It's not pretty.
No, it's not.
They damaged the engine? Damn.
Yeah, we got that fit. We got like handled, but it's not going anytime soon.
Well, we got any spare parts, we can probably fix them up. Obviously, having run into y'all, I'd be glad to extend you the hospitality of my home as it is, but it's not really even with a couple of extra hands. It's a little too big for 2 crew.
Hold
probably
that.
have to part. Go ahead.
I was like, hold that thought. Camo, can you reach Sierra Mobile and see how far out they are? See if they got across the flows yet.
All right, give me a moment.
Let's see,
I'll
you
go
guys
out.
2 days.
Fuck, I have to like
Actually,
get it,
probably
or
got
at
it.
least I gotta move to a position to like make. The
I know
call.
they're not going to be like right behind us, but
Yeah, you probably
I think my comms thing's like strong enough to at least reach out to them. I think.
yes.
Oh yeah.
So,
That's why you have to make the call because you have the big stuff.
Yeah, he is the big boy.
Yeah.
For the best transmission, you probably have to like go up a ladder onto the top. Hey, there's a lot of
Yeah.
those too. Like,
Yeah.
again, this thing is full of like little. They're all like sealed and closed to keep the cold out, but this thing is full of little crawl spaces, hidey holes, hatches. Like, if something breaks while you're rolling over the ice, somebody needs to like open a window and be able to get outside and fix it. You know.
There might be a thing of we could probably want to check these places because there might be someone, but I doubt there is. But
Well, like I said, I want to get on the horn, see how far Sierra Mobile is, see if they can get to our location. Like I said, we got techie boys on there and a couple scouts on there. We'll see if we can get this place up and running again. In the meantime, let's.
Well, we won't. Eastman pops up. We won't. Well, we wouldn't want to necessarily wait for another crawler to come along. Because it'll get cold out on the open ice. We probably want to see if we can get the engine and the heater running again tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then if your folks are close, we can make a run up for them. Or I know a couple of places. Got some, taps her head. Know a couple places nearby. I believe there's a spring folk village over yonder on one of them mountains. I'd have to check the charts as to what it's called. Or there is a gathering. There's a watering hole. Probably another day's travel up north from here. There's going to be a convoy parked around it for probably a couple of weeks as they fill up on fresh water and do some trading. It's where we were headed.
yeah, seems like the next best stop.
So Camo will pop outside.
Yeah.
So
Probably after the call, I'm probably going to see if any of those radios still around because I doubt there's any like recording of that transmission. But
recording? No, fuck no.
Nah.
You if you poke your head into the cockpit, which is mostly intact. Like maybe there's some stuff scattered around. Somebody's seat is like half unbolted where somebody jumped out of it, but there's a couple of cracks in the main pane. It does look like the main viewport is actually transparent steel or something, like it was reinforced in whatever this was originally built out of.
Makes sense.
The radio is basically the equivalent of trucker CB radio. Like they
Gotcha.
have, yeah, they have what's the there's a gear term for this. Is it PlanetCom? I think something like that. There is a piece of gear that's basically an old style radio transmitter. That's what's built into this thing. So there's definitely no recording or computerized logs. It's a very simple radio transmitter. It looks like it's got maybe 3 or 4 channels that it hooks up to. Okay, so let's here. Need to figure out some way to figure out how far away we are, but Camo will pop out and drop a line. While he's doing that, are you guys doing anything else in particular? Or are you just chatting with
Well,
Isma
let's
and Lynn about stuff?
let's clean up the area.
Yeah.
No point in just leaving these bodies to the snow. Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And
so,
again, see if it's doubtful, but let's look for survivors.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now, there are no survivors.
No.
Yeah. Anybody who wasn't immediately killed probably unfortunately died as a result of exposure because they were incapable of warming themselves. Because after whatever happened with the engine, it's not like super freezing cold in this inside, but it's cold in there, and you don't do well if all your blood leaks out. While I'm figuring out about your clone trooper's position though, randomly, Boots, if you wanna do a medical double check on these people, not like a full autopsy because that'd probably be a little rude, but if you want to actually try and ascertain more causes of death and stuff, you can do that.
I would like to do that. Yes.
All right, make me a average medicine check really quick. Okay.
Probably at least to determine if you probably at least determine like the caliber of blaster. See if it's like normal like B1s or like actual.
Interesting.
Huh? Damn.
God, that's a lot of advantage. Okay, all right, I'll tell you a lot. First, I will resolve because I double checked. Camo, you get on the horn to your gear guys and your Sierra Mobile. They are still probably. It turns out they had to take a long way around. To pass some bad ice. They are probably, because unfortunately, while I rolled a decent number of successes, I rolled a lot of failure for their pilot. They are probably at least 3 days behind you if they can find a direct route.
So we should
if not
put
more.
water
And
Alright.
you guys don't know what the weather's going to be like over the next few days either.
Okay.
All right, so probably just
Yeah, they
Charlie's
are behind
checking-
you. If you ever find a good place to stop, you do not want to stop in this rig right now.
No.
no, fair. We should probably like find the other location and probably retell it back to like basically like reconnect it to them.
Okay.
Well, like I said, we can
if
just mark this location on map, and they can
Actually,
come
yeah, maybe we could send. Oh, can I ever send? Actually, could Camo send the data of like Isma's charts to them? Just like help them like actually navigate the location.
Yeah, you've got like video footage and shit, right? Yeah. If you take a little second, you can set up a brief data uplink and because none of their, while there is a basic electronic navigation system in this thing, though you'd have to get the engine started up again to get it powered. But normally they rely on handmade charts. They do use sophisticated tools to make these charts, but they're mostly like rolling out charts and displays. But Isma will actually pull out some of her local charts. You guys do see some decently marked landmarks. The watering hole, for instance, is marked clearly. There's apparently a fairly stable ice hole that basically forms a lake, kind of similar to where you saw those whales sunning a couple days ago, right?
whale frogs.
Like there's another one of those nearby. She does actually point out the nearby Springfolk village is, what was the exact phrasing there, Azure Mountain Spring. She lets you know kind of in an aside that almost every Springfolk settlement is named Spring or Vent or something because where they are.
These charts should probably help you like sort out a route. Try aim for the watering hole.
All right.
But we ground through there
All right,
if
got it.
possible.
Thanks for the update. So yeah, okay. They've got decent navigational data that you don't need to worry about them getting lost. It's just a question of
And now
what route is safe and
No,
if
the
there's
Reaper.
bad weather.
Yeah, the Weaver.
Lucky, you were saying?
Oh no, I was just gonna about the sass axe saying we're going to the watering hole when we actually haven't made a decision.
Yeah.
He's thinking.
where we go?
He's a strong, independent clone trooper.
It's like, where else are we going?
I mean,
Yeah, we can go to the Spring Folk.
Yeah.
Are we gonna wait there for a few days?
We could get there for information. Again, Axe, like, you're doing this thing, you like to do this thing of you make the decision without, like, telling other people or talking to the quote-unquote leadership.
Yeah.
This is the one.
I mean, like I said, I think it works for the way Camo is because he's thinking about the logical next step.
Also, because
him.
I don't think we want them to go into the mountains. We probably want to drive to a place they could probably just drive to
Well,
directly.
I mean, so it's called Azure Mountain. That's because it is a singular mountain.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. You would guess it's probably a dormant or extinct volcano that has become a hot spring
Do you want to be
or a
okay.
geothermal vent.
But Camo, you want to be in charge? I'll let you be in charge.
I don't think
Shrug.
as a character Camo would mind. Anyway, you don't
You
know.
know
if
the
he's
problem with being in
necessarily making
charge is,
suggestions.
Camo? You have to wrangle me. Me.
That's pretty easy. Just throw him from the boat. He's
No.
wrangled.
Just
Give him
just
bungee
do
cord. Tow him behind the. Put him in a sleeping bag and just run out a cable. Tow him behind the crawler. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
How fast can this thing go? It can probably go only like 20 kph. You'll be
My
fine.
plan got fired.
Well, no. This is what you do. You just gotta make sure you put a couple skis underneath boots. You'll be fine.
Put him on
Yeah.
a sled. They do actually probably have some like cargo sleds and shit. You know.
You have to catch me first.
I feel like Camo can
By the way,
just
speaking
easily
of the
fucking-
storage space, if you guys do want to actually like get this thing under power, the ramp and the storage space is big enough that much like you did on Sierra Mobile, you could bring your bikes inside and rack them basically.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
You probably have to bust out the space bungee cables to like make sure they're secured because this thing doesn't have proper vehicle racks, but it's got the storage space for it.
Yeah. I was imagining Camo if we tried to run, he would just do the fucking do maneuver of sweeping the legs and then punching him in the back.
Anyway, so
can just
I think it
offer.
sounds like at least Aramaa and Wevu are going to step back outside and look at some of those footprints and stuff.
Yeah.
After you do police up everybody. It looks like you've
Right.
got maybe 12, 14-ish dead.
Yeah.
You can, line everybody up. Isma and Lynn kind of go off on their own to quietly pay their respects. You guys go ahead and check out.
Yeah. Check for any. See
Okay,
it.
I will not make you guys
Further
roll
prints.
again because you already rolled. Though I
we
guess
should probably-
Aramaa did not roll yet, so you can go ahead and roll me a hard perception check.
Did we go over?
I
Boots'
will
medical roll?
hug Skirk's. I will hug.
Oh
Skirk's
yeah, that's
butts.
right. I don't think I tabbed over and looked. I can do that while they're rolling. So yes, as you guys are basically policing up these bodies, right?
Mhm.
Boots takes his once over. So it looks like you're looking at most of them blaster marks, right? With that advantage, you would guess it looks like some fairly precise shooting. Center of mass shots, minimal fire, not excessive. That's actually a little unusual. It doesn't look like any of these guys were like mowed down in a hail of a million droids firing all at once. There's a little more precise shooting. It's a little weird.
Hang on one second, guys.
Okay. Lucky will step away for a sec. However, there are a couple of unusual cases. It's unfortunate because it's not a great way to go, speaking of bad ways to go, but absolutely a couple of these people were literally set on fire. If Boots had to guess, he would say flame projectors.
Hmm.
It's like some fucking Arctic hit squad or something.
Yeah. So that's not great. And there are so like how I said, there was a guy who was like in his cot. Yeah, that guy was absolutely like shanked in the night or something. Like, stab in the heart, slit his throat ear to ear, like just did him in. And a couple of other people look like they have very precise, clean, but also very direct knife wounds or stab wounds.
This makes me wonder if it was commando droids.
Feels like
It
feels
could
like
be.
they're kind of touch.
Yeah. Again, could be. I'm just throwing out ideas or suggestions. I'm not gonna look up like a few stab wounds and be like, "This was commando droids."
I mean, you have to
Obviously.
probably measure the actual length, and then the estimate usual.
I
length
recognize
measure.
this cut anywhere.
Well, so it's funny you say that.
Oh,
you're looking
shit.
at you're looking at the cuts, right? Like you're looking at the wounds. It's not something like I recognize this anywhere. These, because you rolled so much advantage, these marks, right, are very distinct. You could probably, if you had access to a whole forensic lab, you could probably like figure out the exact pattern of this blade, right? Like, and it's not compared to like your own what is it, like Mark 1 combat knives or something clones are issued.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's sorry, burpees. Yes, the spice.
The spice. The spicy nuggets have come back to bite you.
It's different than like
Is there a good? I don't think there's any really good like canon art of like a
a
clone
commando.
knife, but what's this? Um, it, just from my own looks, small vibro blades are usually curved single edge. You guys might even have like they're vibro weapons, so they probably don't have like the standard combat knife type serrations, but they might, who knows.
The only vibro weapon I have is those scalpels I took.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Your commando knife might also be vibro. So, like, actually, it might not though. It might be an unpowered knife. In that case, it's probably does have like the serrated pattern.
Yeah, because like it's
so it can be
accurate,
used for a
pierce.
couple of different uses.
Any chance I could take a picture of this and send it back to base, or would that be too much? Like, we're too far away.
I mean, I think you'd have to like borrow somebody else's like scanner goggles or something, or binocs or something. But you can absolutely take a picture and have Camo put in his data package, basically.
Hey, Camo, you've got fancy micro binoculars, right? Can you take a picture of this?
Yeah. Must might as well double check this. Takes a few pictures.
Yeah,
Try
so
to get like
you
a
take some.
full
Yeah.
lineup.
Because it'll at least help us, because if they're really well armed out here, that's going to be even worse for the people here.
Yeah. Might as well give warning.
So,
better give warning. So the others.
Boots, to you think that what I was going to say was that this doesn't look like a normal knife, because this is definitely a broad, double-edged looking, like sharp, heavy, stabbing knife.
Oh,
Like
he
this
said knife. That means it's.
Yeah. Though, if anybody is like comparing, it is not like as big and heavy as like Camo's Beskad, right? Like the Beskad is a short sword. It is a saber. This is clearly something knife sized, but yeah, it's a obviously a big heavy blade meant for
Like,
causing harm to people.
Yeah, which is like something meant like piercing
and
armor.
you guys have seen commando droids wielding full blown vibro blades. Those are also about the same size as the Beskad. Those are like big, broad, one handed sabers. Not.
I mean, we know like a shark carries around his own all the time.
Yeah.
But basically, this was a weapon designed for this kind of situation in a way.
Yeah.
Which again,
was heavy enough that because here's the thing, these guys are not lightly clothed, right? Like it's not really armor, but it's probably like soak 1, maybe even defense 1, right? Like they're wearing multiple layers of insulating padding. This was clean punch into the body, which is actually some work. That also probably means that in addition to good tools, whoever was doing this was well trained.
Yes.
But yeah, so apart from, like I said, there's a couple of stab wounds. There's a couple of probably flame projector injuries. Most of the rest are just blaster shots. So you could probably do some fancy pants blaster forensics, but that would require like really, really special equipment, because otherwise it's just, well, this man has a plasma burn in his chest.
It's really
they
hard
were
to find
probably
plasma
rifle level blasts with proper shooting, like not just pistol shots, but also at the very least, right? You don't see any signs that like somebody had like a heavy repeating blaster out here, right?
Yeah. A quick question: how many of them were stabbed? Is that like
Uh,
a number I can figure out, or?
we'll say probably what did I say? There's 14. We'll say probably like 3. They were all people you found inside too.
Hmm. Okay.
It was
Now,
like a
And
whole,
and
like,
in your
this is
policing up
probably
and like searching the place for survivors, you guys find like several hatches outside that are like undogged or left open. You probably like reseal them so you can let this place fucking warm up. If you guys don't do it, Isma will get out probably what looks like an insulated, heavy, bright orange tarp to throw over that skylight that got ruptured. Stuff like that.
this just has me concerned that, like in similar situations, it's a bunch of droids, but there's that one commander who's not a droid who's leading them, and that's the concern I have.
I have a good feeling too, where it might be like some kind of like mercenary guy or mercenary commando unit, like some
Yeah.
We'll
different kind of weaponry.
But
when Lucky
again,
gets back,
I'm
he
not
can
sure.
roll to do stuff.
Yeah,
I will
this
say
is
that
just texture.
guys, I did actually look this up. I should actually double check how B2 feet look because I can look at the miniatures. But because Fantasy Flight Games has produced miniatures of the B1 and the BX Commando droids, I can tell you that from a pretty good scale, those guys feetsies are pretty identical.
Mm.
You guys probably could not tell without like a full forensic kit the difference between a BX boot print and a B1 boot print. I will say that at least in passing, without Aramaa making her own check, Wev is probably pretty sure none of these were B2 Super Battle Droid prints. Those guys are actually like bigger and chunkier. So,
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
all right.
Welcome back. Now I have to go.
Okay. I will recap for Boots since Loth is stepping away. He did his forensics and stuff. He noted that in addition to quite a few blaster wounds, though most of those were precise, they were there were a couple of injuries that were Aramaa will not like this, by the way. There were a couple of people who were very clearly like burned to death with flame projectors. But Boots also found a few stab wounds that were kind of interesting. And these guys were basically debating whomst could have done this. So while Wevu points you out those droid boot prints, you can make me that hard perception check
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
with your special eyes,
Eyes.
special sockets.
Let's roll Destiny. Why not? Get that back on. Get that back over there.
And then fail it and get it right back.
Probably. Wild.
One success. Okay. Aramaa, you do indeed find the boot prints. I had this conversation before you came back. I've actually like looked at the miniatures. So at the very least, to my eye, B1 battle droids and BX commando droids footprints are basically the same. So you're not sure whether it's which model it would be between those. You are pretty sure that it is not super battle droids because those guys are big. But yeah, no, there's absolutely you see the boot marks that Wevu pointed out, and actually while you're looking around again with your special vision, you count another couple of sets of tracks, maybe even upwards of maybe a dozen of their own of these different sets. All of them are a little bit back. It doesn't look like the droid prints actually scooched up too close. You know, since she's pretty. Let's actually. Europa has eyes. She can. I say to myself as I realize that cunning is also one of her not great stats. What the hell? You guys will probably rest. She'll take intense focus. That's like one strain to upgrade her check once. Interesting.
I feel like it's something different at least.
Yeah. Okay. So you're looking at the. Yeah, Europa really doesn't find anything interesting or different about the prince as such. But she's kind of looking around. And does, you know, just casually dig through there and let's see. Get yeah, I think actually the best way to do is just to kind of she kind of circles back around as you guys are like following these prints, and then kind of quietly calls over to Aramaa and Wevu. Hey, Jedi.
Yeah.
Calls you over. Points. You like she's actually like up under one of the treads that have since stopped. And she actually points you up at the gearbox, right? Because you guys have not yet said you were planning on fixing this thing. Here's the detail you hadn't noticed yet. Yeah, there is absolutely. It looks like not even like a grenade strike. That looks like an anti-armor munition struck the underside of this thing. Like maybe it could be a light rocket. You know that the Separatists have access to like rocket carbines, right? You know, micro rockets and shit like that. Some Boba Fett type stuff.
Now I have a weird feeling about.
But there's like absolutely like a small munition struck like this thing's gearbox or something that's driving these treads.
Was it like an actual like projectile? Like I assume it wasn't a mine.
Yeah, it was a projectile. As far as you can tell, you guys don't see any signs of mines, and you have not, as you can tell, you haven't accidentally stepped in on the anti-vehicle mines. But no, there's not like an anti-tank mine at this point would probably have hit the treads, but it would look like there would be a big like buried object in the snow that went straight up. No, this looks like something flew up and slammed into the underside of this thing and, you know, popped a gear shaft or something in the propulsion system that caused it to, if not dead stop, slow down a lot.
This is really.
Because,
I have a weird.
hey guys, guess what? Well, okay, if it is like you fear BX commando droids, because people throw that theory around, those guys are pretty spry. If it's just B1 droids, those guys are not spry. So it looks like some steps were taken to slow down the target and cause a panic. Hey, what causes a concern more than oops, we've blown a gear or a gasket or something. We've slipped a disc. We have to stop and get out and fix it, and then murder.
I'm trying to remember how often it was that we've met like commandos with jetpacks or not.
I think I can say that as far as you know, I don't believe that commando type droids are armed with jetpacks. There are models of B1 battle droids and B2 battle droids that have built-in rocket packs, right? And there are specialized droids that have like repulsor systems built in. I think they're like C3 droids. They're like flying droids. There are aerial battle droids, but no, you have not seen commandos with standalone rocket packs. That's your guys' thing.
I have a weird feeling that.
I also want to say, like,
droids, but maybe something else.
Camo has been talking about rocket packs. I want to remind you that I have not confirmed that. The thing you are 100% sure of is that fire was used as a weapon on people.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering like those like weird like marks we found or not.
Well, I honestly shoot like they might have something that uses jet propulsion that they use to get in and out. It's still a little weird, but
well, yeah. So from what you guys know about the environment, and actually, do you guys share any of this with Isma?
Yeah, well, if she's talking about like showing us stuff too,
she would also corroborate with like, listen, I've lived out here all my life. When you're a nomad, you live with technology, with the iron. She clunks one of the big treads on the side. But all this stuff is as pure mechanical as it can be. No repulsors, no computers when you can help it. And if a storm comes up, she points at the sky, which, like I said, is like gently overcast. If a storm comes up, anything that runs on wires and circuits, shut it off. Hell, sometimes if you have the right kind of crawler, you'll power down in a storm completely. I've never seen a droid out here in my life. I know how they work, because we've got some old technical manuals and stuff, but if if this is one of them separatist thingies, they must be holed up somewhere safe. Because if you had a droid powered up during one of them storms, well, let me just tell you, you wouldn't have a droid for long. You'd have not even scrap metal to fix. Probably melt their stacks if they're not shielded.
So,
Omega, I have a weird question.
I'm
If
Omega.
there's like those jet propulsion marks, would they fit the jetpack I have?
You guys have not cleanly identified any jet propulsion marks.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we only identified a 2-meter long scorch mark.
Yeah, I said this earlier. I will say it again plainly. You keep having this theory about jetpacks. I have not yet confirmed or denied jetpacks.
Sorry.
Absolutely, you have seen flame projectors.
Yeah,
Um,
I've
If you
Scorch
wanted to look around to, ooh, what would that be? I guess that would be knowledge warfare. Go ahead and make me a hard knowledge warfare to see if you can actually tell if there are any of these are like jetpack marks or like some kind of jet powered vehicle.
Lucky can go punch me if you want to. I'm sorry. I have a weird feeling that it's more than just droids, but I know it's probably wrong.
But you can roll to see if you can find some evidence for your theory.
well, yeah. Let's see,
Okay.
let's roll to see if we can identify these jet scorch marks. I will be.
I got a triumph though.
Let's see here.
Okay. Well, I got the perfect way to do this because you. Unfortunately for you, Camo, while you are a student of demolitions, it's without a scientific kit. It's really hard to tell the source of one fire from another. A scorch mark is a scorch mark, right?
Yeah.
Holy.
Oh,
no,
damn.
Aramaa wanted to go for that roll. Okay.
Oh.
Try first
Everybody's
by
fucking
making-
rolling. All right. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, I don't really need to do that.
Like I said, I was rolling because I wanted to see if it was like some sort of jet propulsion vehicle.
All right. Well, okay.
I'm
So
just
these guys
also
will have different
shocked
results
at
on
the
their
number of
theories.
triumphs. Holy fuck.
But Camo, while you're looking around, you actually like check one of these scorch marks in the snow. You find a smaller scorch mark, and you're like thinking to yourself, "Is this maybe a jetpack?" Nah, the angle's too high. Like if you were taking off with a jetpack, you wouldn't do that. All right, so that was going to be a discipline check to activate the knowledge thing, but Wevuguk decided not to do that. But what you do notice, because you're doing another big circuit, checking on every little mark, right? What you do notice is that you find another boot print type. Only this is absolutely not a droid print. Like it doesn't have the same, like droid prints are very flat, very angular, right? Like they're simple robot men constructions. This is an actual boot print. And can I get on like a? Sorry, I'm making the possibly mistake of keep wanting to look up visual references so I don't confuse anybody, but sometimes that doesn't get you good things on the internet. Oh, actually, okay, that's a helpful image. No, Google, why would you lie to me? Why would you show me an image in a search, and then when I click on that tab, that's not that image? Okay, all right, that's interesting. So what you're seeing, Camo, right? Is definitely a heavy-duty, military-styled boot print. Like you hold your own foot up to it. You guess that this guy's got at least as big a shoe size as you do. It is not like you would know that anywhere. It is not literally a standard issue ass clone trooper boot print. Nothing weird like that. But yeah, no, this is somebody's wearing heavy combat armor.
I have this weird gut feeling that it's like some fucking like Death Watch squad they hired or some shit. Or something like that.
Well, I mean, you have noticed some very precise shooting.
Very precise shots, like double-edged blades, because usually like droid blades are usually one-sided.
Yeah, but okay. I got this. Aramaa, you will take a strain.
Yeah.
But because you're like, All right, I'm looking for jet propulsion, and maybe we'll quash Camo's weird jetpack theory.
Mhm.
You unfortunately do not, because what you do find is, you like get up on the top of this thing. Sorry, sudden cough. But you get up on the top deck of the crawler, right?
Mhm.
And you look around, and then up here where you guys hadn't really looked yet, Aramaa is just kind of, because Camo's busy looking at that boot print, right? Like he's got some other new shiny thing to look at. You're probably the first one to really like scope it out on top of this thing. Oh yeah, there are absolutely some small circular burn marks that are like, maybe that could be like somebody's like rocket, maybe not just necessarily a jetpack. They could be like rocket boots. They could be an integrated rocket pack on a droid. But absolutely, that looks like, it looks too small to be like a vehicle. Like if they had some kind of like basically a jet powered repulsor sled type thing, but jet powered. No,
Mhm.
you're thinking jetpacks or jet boots or something.
Hmm.
Probably multiple sets. And sure, why the heck not? It's funnier this way. You got a double triumph. You're digging around, right?
Mhm.
You're checking around, and you find, caught somewhere on like, because again, this thing is so like, this crawler, if people haven't gotten clear, is like absolutely like completely mismatched. Like you see different armor plates from different decades, if not from different centuries, bolted onto this thing at some places. They've tried to like smooth over any like dangling pipes or wires, but this thing's got like a couple of like lightning rods and shit on top, right?
Mhm.
Um, and caught on just something sticking out, you find a little scrap of something,
Oh.
like like a scrap of cloth. Um, that you check it, right?
Mhm.
Pull it up. Um, it's kind of a it looks like maybe like a, I don't even know what you'd call that. Actually, let me see. This is Star Wars. We have visual dictionaries for everything.
Hey.
Do I know what it's called? No. Okay. There's not a reference to this particular piece of costume. It looks like, but it looks like maybe it's not like a full blown cape. Maybe you'd call it a capelet, but like a little bit of cloth that comes out. Looks like it insulates the neck region, kind of comes down over your shoulders. That has been like torn out, right?
Mhm.
And you do see emblazoned on this thing on the side or back. There's a couple of unusual markings, but there's one of them that basically anybody in the galaxy can recognize. You see the Mythosaur skull symbol
Oh
of
no.
Mandalorians.
Oh no.
Since you got a double triumph, so yeah, you have a piece of Mandalorian scarf. Looks nice, armor weave probably.
Oh, great. Great, 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 great.
God
And
damn it,
if you guys hadn't done anything but look at a crime scene for an hour and a half, I'd love a cliffhanger here, but let's do some shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's do some shit.
Okay.
All right. Well, Arma will hop down off this crawl and call everyone over. Show the
Yeah.
capelet.
Huddle.
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 So it looks
All
like we might have a combination of droids and mercs. Maybe.
Yes, I would like to say for everybody at home, without needing to roll anything, you guys would know this because it's standard briefing. Officially, Mandalore is a neutral planet. Its current government is highly devoted to peace and non-aggression. They basically had an internal reform surge, right, where reformists took over the planet. However, you guys know two things. One, Mandalorian space is pretty big. At its peak, the Mandalorian sector consisted of 1,000 worlds, right? Second, you do also know that, based on current briefings, there is a traditionalist militant sect called the Death Watch, who are operating on Mandalore and are basically inciting terrorism to try and take back their planet. And there is rumors that they are monetarily or materially backed by the Separatists in an effort to get Mandalore out of the Republic and bring the Mandalorians onto their side. But you'd have to see them for sure because Mandalorians have very specific clan marks and stuff that that would probably be some lore outer rim type roles to like figure out who's got what going on.
I mean, Camo could vaguely try, probably not get it,
but there are also, like I said, there are a lot of outlying Mandalorian worlds who are populated by their own clans and bands and stuff. So you're where there's a war going on, there's Mandalorians are never far. Though to be fair, there are also like clones would know this. You guys have actually been trained in certain things by like Mandalorian mercenary trainers, right? Like a lot of clone pilots were actually trained by Mandalorian pilots out of Concord Dawn, the Protectors. So like the problem with Mandalorians is there's a lot of different Mandalorians. You're pretty sure these Mandalorians aren't your kind of Mandalorians, but what kind of Mandalorians are they? You don't know.
It's like saying which Japanese clan is it?
Yeah. Like it's not like you found a scrap of like Jedi robe or a lightsaber and you could be like, "Oh, a Jedi. I know how those guys work." This is different. So,
It's more
but it does look like you've got a small warband. Aramaa, you might notice, like I said, like 3 or 4 different burn marks. You've got a couple of boot prints out there.
Great.
Well, this is worse than I thought it'd be.
Well, shoot.
Wait, hold on. So let me just get this straight. Since we're dealing with Mandalorians, it wasn't droids with jetpacks. It was Mandos with jetpacks. Camo.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's my joke. Back to serious stuff.
Well, unfortunately, there's not much else to do for the night. Well, actually, what time is it?
You guys have been doing a lot of investigating.
Mm-hmm.
It is probably. It was like what did I say? Like late morning.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have probably spent 2 or 3 hours at this. It is now probably like late lunchtime, and you've probably only got a handful, maybe half a dozen hours of daylight tops left.
Yeah. Camo, you and Wevo, see if you can get the engines and heaters running in the snow crawler.
Sure.
At least for the night. Like I said, I don't know how long it's gonna take us to get to wherever we're going, but we're probably staying here for the night, and we want to be.
I'll see what we can do.
It'll be a little warm. Boots, you help me get the speeders up into the crawler.
Will do.
How we doing on food? We're doing all right on food. We got some steaks. They got some steaks.
Yeah, you guys.
We got a bunch of fish. Just got
Yeah.
a box of fish.
I'm trying to remember how many meals worth.
I think you said it'd eat like about 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
we're
you
hoping to
absolutely
run
have like.
You're up, Skirk. If you would not mind, would you see if Miss, what was her name?
Isma.
Isma, mind if she lets you some space to maybe get us a good lunch and tea? Cause gotta keep up your calories, gotta keep up your hydration. Anyway, break.
So it'll be like a combined mechanics check to work on the engine or anything?
Yeah. So this will be hard, cause it's beat up. However, this is more like the equivalent of fixing a nasty critical hit than like raw hull trauma repair.
Okay.
Like,
Can Boots give untrained assistance with this?
no, you're busy loading speeders and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it became on Revo.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it by myself. Sure.
Oh, I forgot. Like,
No, it's fine.
What?
We've done division of labors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So-
yeah.
Okay.
The call.
That's interesting.
How's this currently done? Says I have at least 4 dice on this. Do you just want to assist me, or do you want to do it by?
I mean, for mechanics, what was your int score again?
My int is 2. My mechanics is 2.
I have mechanics 4 and 2.
Okay, so I mean the way the combined check works is like you all get to use your betters. So Wevu can make the check basically with like her 2 mechanics, Camo's 4 brain, sorry, 4 int, and then also her force dice and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, no, you can absolutely go it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'll just help her.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that everything?
It probably consists of a lot of Wevu like studying things, touching and feeling pipes and tools and stuff, and just telling Camo what to fix. So you
Okay,
get some force dice.
Let's see here. How do I want to do that?
I just do 2-2.
Success would make this go faster.
I'll say 3 success.
All right. Okay. So you guys were focused primarily on the Aramaa told you to focus primarily on the engine,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Get that up and running. Okay. So in probably about an hour's worth of work, it's a little sweaty, but you guys are wearing the right gear. You're fine. You guys are able to basically fix all the pipes, unfuck the exhaust so it's not broken and like dumping smoke into the actual engine room or anything. Cleared all the pans, reset all the valves, and like get everything hooked back up. With your one advantage, you guys go back and somebody checks the fuel reserve. You know, do the dipstick. You guys aren't exactly sure how fuel efficiency works in this thing, but if you fire up the engine to idle so that it will power internal electronics, because it's got like little electric generators in here, and like power heating because it absolutely just has some fucking space heater coils, you know, right?
Mhm.
You guys think you've probably got enough for at least a couple of days, if not longer. And you, like I said, you can get that done in about an hour, and you can get the engine back to idly chugging enough to like gently warm everything up.
Okay.
Now, if you want this thing to actually move, that's going to require a second, though now easier mechanics check because, like I said, there is external structural damage to like the drive systems and treads and shit you need to fix, and you guys might want, at the very least, not necessarily for unskilled assistance, but you might want everybody free for that, just because there might be some heavy shit you guys have to move.
Okay.
Okay.
But yes, like I said, in about an hour's worth of work, you guys can do all that. Team Gopher, it takes you guys like no effort, like maybe 15 minutes to get these things actually up in there. Probably unload some of the stuff to make it easier to move. You probably fuck around for another 5 minutes getting everything stored. Like I said, because you have to like bust out the space bungee cables and tie everything down.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you guys are done before the engineering is complete. So you guys want to step onto some space, I think, to make sure you guys can get some food, right?
Yeah.
Food.
All right. Eastman probably sends her son Lynn out to go grab the rest of their bag, you know, where they left it. And sets up. He already heated some water. They do have. Hey, guess what? They have lots of ice. The Nomads actually have probably a pretty sophisticated water distillation system, where when the heater is on, and it can also have its own independent gas heating. Probably lots of redundancy system. You're noticing. If one thing's breaks, this thing's designed to keep going. But basically, you put ice in the still, and then it ice or snow, and then it purifies into steam, which gets pure water, and any impurities are like boiled out. So there's plenty of hot water. For the sake of sanitation, because you probably don't want to be soaking wet, they probably have like a like sink bath system so you can scrub down, right? But there is hot water, and since there's only 2 of them now, there's plenty of kitchen space for you guys to prep a meal.
Oof.
They have this thing has a full kitchenette area that, like I said, was made to serve. Honestly, this place was probably under max living space currently. Like they had like 3, maybe 4-ish family units counting the DeMarcuses, right? This probably has like enough seating and cooking space to feed like a couple dozen. Again, because everything here is like repurposed and recycled from something. So you guys have no problem finding cots. Eastma kind of says that basically like it doesn't matter where you sleep if you want to take a cot. It was all kind of just bunk seating. and there's plenty of space for like you guys to sit out and eat. They've got some. I'm gonna assume. I should actually double check. How is Calf? Yeah, okay. It's made from calf beans. Calf. Funny how that works. Yeah, so they probably have their own strain of calf bean to make into calf coffee, basically. It's probably not literally like a hot cocoa, but they probably do have, because they have access to certain things, they have almost like a hot chocolate type or a hot mocha kind of mix to it. Like they can get something sugary and sweet, but also warm to like get in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's hot drinks, and with their haul and your own, there are plenty of fresh fish and steaks here.
Time for food. Eat up.
These
Nom,
people's
nom, nom,
diet is rich in proteins and fats.
Yep. Gotta keep your calories.
There are probably, if you wanted some veg in there are probably like something that's familiar to you guys, like dried algae patties and stuff like that. The kind of stuff that normally gets eaten on Sohaliv.
Just like home.
Some cured seaweeds that they fish up from in there, but yeah, there's not an excess of it. All right, so you guys eat your late lunch. You eat good. Engine is up, so there's heater. Like I said, you guys probably have like 4 or 5 hours of daylight left. Obviously, Eastman and Lynn are planning on double checking the fuel reserves, and if it's possible, they want to siphon some off to like have a nice big pyre for all the people who are dead and kind of move on before it gets too late. But they will take your assistance if you offer it, but will not ask it or require it of you, because
Boots will offer his assistance in this matter.
Okay. Yeah, so they gotta get accelerants and stuff. And like it's a little weird to like see how they prep. Like they leave them with like most of their inner clothes, but they will like, if they're not like too beaten up or bloody, they will actually like strip off outer layers. Like if these guys have like pouches of stuff, they will like make sure to respectfully, but they will like remove them all and take them back and like stash them on the vehicle. You get the impression that the Nomads are a culture that is very, very big on reuse, recycle.
Very pragmatic.
If you're, even if it was your lucky wrench set, if you're dead, they're not gonna like not make sure to get your wrench set, because that's very important. Somebody's gonna need that fucking wrench set, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that it looks like they keep is like small like small personal charms or objects that are of only artistic value. Nothing too crazy.
Okay.
All right.
If you guys want to have a think about the rest of your day, I can take a. We've been going for about 2 hours. I can take a pauser and go pee again.
Yeah. You can take a break.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, let's take a break. Pause the recording.
Break.
Intermission. All right.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's almost like this arc's gonna take a bit.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back. I've suggested that we look into these attacks, find out information about what I can't remember the exact name of them, the Spring Water people?
Springfolk.
Spring folk. Like, if they're involved in any way, or if they've been attacked in any way, find that out, and then possibly work to resolve this separatist Mandalorian problem they have.
Yeah, no, Loth. We're just gonna, ignore this, go trapeze off to a vault, get our shit, and leave.
Oh,
I've
okay.
got nothing to say to that.
Like, I'm sorry, Loth. I'm like, what were you expecting us to do?
I don't know.
You should make it a plan of it.
It's like, no, like, but like I said, we do need to decide if we're going to go to the Springfolk encampment there and get information, or maybe go to the watering hole and get information there, or we do both. I don't know exactly where each is along the way.
So they're probably in two separate directions, as described earlier. Here, let me, since we're back, let me unpause the recording.
Yeah.
Actually, hold on, let me stop it really quick first, my audio anyway, and then reset it. Because Audacity is giving me a little bit of lag, so I'll reset it really quick. I don't think I dropped any actual audio, but...
Yeah, sorry Loth to seem a bit sassy, but, like, really, do you think we're not going to try and solve this problem?
Yeah.
Well,
I just have a weird feeling that it might overlap.
Well,
Suggestion
I don't know what the discussion was while I was gone, but it sounded like when I came back, like there was a talk of like, do we deal with this right now, or do we go do our vault thing and then come back and deal with it, kind of a thing.
Well, we
Actually,
sort of decided on just taking care of this problem now, and so.
As it
Yeah.
happens as we're traveling.
But we kind of knew that, well, Aramaa would take care of this problem now.
like I had a feeling that was the case, but I'm also just putting out suggestions of like if these people are involved or if they're part of the separatists, just throwing out like suggestions, not actual like, hey, we should do this.
Like, I'm guaranteeing
Okay,
neither
anyway,
one
we're
of
back
these. I'm almost willing to guarantee none of these people are with the separatists. Like, look at how the Nomads are. Like, and the Spring folk are probably more isolated and isolation than these folk are. Probably.
Yeah, because they probably don't even know.
I mean, you guys
Great
literally heard how the Spring folk conduct warfare. It involves, at best, slug throwers, and usually bows and arrows and swords or knives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like these people don't understand total war. They are fighting for survival every day, kind of a thing.
Uh-huh.
Like,
But-
I'm sure that if you're you're in one of these communities, you've lived your whole life here, it's probably pretty comfortable for you.
Mhm.
But like, it's not a walk in the park either. Like, there's a lot of training and effort and stuff to get in there. All right, but anyway, we're back on recording fully. Everything's going fine.
So,
Um,
but like talking to Spring folk, we might be able to figure out why they're here. Because that's the ultimate. That's the big, question mark regards. Like, why are they here? What are they trying to accomplish? Is there a resource they want here? Are they looking for something, or they are just out just causing a ruckus? And
Are they here just to cause problems? To
so yeah,
destabilize the
before I
region?
had to double check my audio setup, we were talking about which direction they're in. They would be in separate directions, not like literally like a T junction, but like they would be going in different directions because obviously, again, you've talked about this. Sometimes they don't get along well. The Nomads would not set up a like convoy camp right next to a Springfolk village. The two people live separate lifestyles, so they don't usually exist in close contact with each other.
Gotcha. So that
And
means
based on your fuel you guys would not know the fuel efficiency of this rig, especially considering parts of it might still be broken. Like, you've fixed the engine, but you haven't had the time or inclination to like check every bolt. But just basically just looking at like the fuel levels you check, because you have to siphon off some of the fuel to set up your little the collective funeral pyre thing. You're probably pretty sure that this thing can run the day or two worth of travel, again, depending on weather and stuff, to either location. You do not know if it can run the both ways direction of the triangle if you want to go to both. If you want my suggestion based on the information you have, the ambiguous suggestion of the Force would probably be to go to the Nomads first, because at the very least, you can be sure that if you roll up to a Nomad convoy, they can probably, if not hook you up with fuel straight up so you can take this vehicle, hook you up with another vehicle where you can go out to visit the Springfolk without needing to worry about running out of gas. If you do go to the Springfolk, it is entirely possible that
Might get stranded.
depending on how things go, you could run out of fuel, and then if you want to go to the Nomads, you're gonna have to hoof it back on your speeder bikes, and that's gonna limit how much you can carry, etc.
Mm-hmm.
The Spring Folk Knight would be great about the idea of you leaving a Nomad ice crawler in their front lawn.
Sounds like it is bad juju.
Like I want to say this, especially if you speak to Izan about this, like, which you probably do. You probably ask her like how they, like, what's her advice? She's a local. She would probably definitely mirror what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Can even say this came from her. The Spring Folk are not going to be like upset that you parked a vehicle in their front yard. They'd probably be bothered if you like parked it there forever. It's not like a horrible taboo or a curse or anything. The way she puts it is, listen, the Spring Folk understand technology. They're the same stock, us and them. It's just that the way they live their lives, they can't count on technology, so they discard it. They run on simple greenhouses, manual forges. They heat purely by fires using oil or coal. Fats from a neuro whales if they got them, whale oil, stuff like that. They do not count on technology to have their back out here, so they don't like it. And basically, the only thing they would get out of you guys hulking an ice crawler on their front lawn was they'd be slightly annoyed that you've basically given them a pile of trash they're going to have to take apart and melt down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like they would think you're some kind of evil spirit, but they'd be upset like anybody else would if you parked a fucking, beat up pickup truck on their lawn and were like, hey, this is your problem now. It's littering. But yeah, so that's just kind of the general suggestion you get from the information you guys have discovered in character and been briefed on, and what your locals say to you. As you guys could probably sit and talk this over lunch.
Mm-hmm. I mean, ice cream.
Okay.
Also, in that case, if the Sierra Mole is also aiming towards the watering hole, might as well make it easier if we make it there in time or get delayed. We'll probably run up similar.
Oh, we'll see. The thing will run forever as long as it doesn't. Well, not forever. What's the consumables on this damn thing? Hang on.
It's probably a decent chunk. Hold
A
on.
month, I think.
I didn't write it down.
Well, I'm scrolling. I'll find it. Tanks, Juggernaut. Oh, is it not in my list?
Juggernaut.
It might actually be in my stats list.
I can see it right here.
Oh,
does
Juggernauts.
Yeah, it's not in the note stock. Does that mean it didn't have any worth noting, or just that my
Didn't we have the stats for it
system
saved?
Oh, we did, but
well, that's what I'm saying. I'm literally in my stat stock. I'm scrolling up through every instance of the word consumables, and it does look like it doesn't. I guess does that mean that I didn't count it in the armored vehicles? Maybe it's too small. Marth probably has the raw stats somewhere. But
yeah, I have the raw stats, but it does not say anything about consumers in the raw stats or even in the book.
Okay, so maybe it doesn't carry its own.
I remember as we
I
talked
think
about
it's
something
mostly
about it.
starships that usually have consumables.
Well, that's.
I mean, there's some walkers that have it, but yeah, no, I pulled it up on the wiki, and yeah, it does not appear to list their consumables. Hey, it's almost like this RPG was racked with terrible table editing that nobody ever fixed.
Yeah.
I remember that
And for some reason nobody would ever. Well, okay, most of the interviews I've heard are done it at the behest of the. Like you have to work your butt off to get the developers in to be interviewed, but like absolutely, if it were physically possible, which it is not because, even if those guys work with Edge now, Fantasy Flight no longer has an RPG department. But I would absolutely be like, hey guys, why are your books edited like shit?
Like I love looking at it, but I can't find anything.
Your tables and copy editors aren't consistent. Like, is this? Actually, if I could find them now that they've technically all been laid off, I wonder if they might actually be more open to explaining some of that. Because
like, why can't I understand how buying and selling works in this system?
Well, that's a different thing. I'm just thinking about like
that's a point. But,
that's
yeah.
there's a lot of these small errors like I've talked about before about the fact that, for instance, the Mandalorian Fang Fighter is printed like 3 different times with 3 different stat blocks, and I'm just like, and the excuse when asked is somebody's just like, oh, it's just a variant, as opposed to the real answer, which was none of you fucks could open up a previous copy of the source book but you printed this in and double check, or
Yeah.
God forbid you have an internal database. But no, I don't. Whatever. I guess people do different work ethics, or I don't know. There are like design softwares involved. Maybe their design process wasn't very useful for that. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna take a crack at. I'm going to guesstimate based on the stuff we've got going on that for instance, just looking at this, and it just looks like every like combat walker just doesn't have consumable stats. I'm gonna guess based on the all-terrain exploration and survey transport, right? Like
Yeah.
it's another big. That's another big Silphor vehicle that's got consumables 1 month. The Juggernaut probably has a similar like raw fuel and food supply, right?
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can check the.
I
the
remember
actual-
like one time you saying that it was like a month.
Oh, okay.
supply.
So the wiki does have that it's got 20 days provisions, which is just under a month, but it's got fuel enough for 30,000 kilometers of travel. So yeah, the Sierra Mobile probably has enough gas to run anywhere you need, but if you guys are operating out here for like a month, you're gonna run out of supplies unless you take more on.
Okay.
You are carrying spare food as trade goods, so you're probably fine. That just means that you have to get into your own stockpile.
Mm-hmm. Well.
Yes, okay. So after that diversion of being boned by formatting in the rules, where were we?
No, we're just gonna say actually shit, where were we? I knew it'd come up. Oh yeah, we weren't worrying about how long it takes Sierra Mobile to get to the watering hole because they have food and fuel for days, literally.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've probably
This is a thing I can cross-check. Like, let me see what your relative like speeds are. So like the swoop is like speed 2, okay, and then Sierra Mobile would be like speed 3. Yeah. So obviously, being a ground vehicle, they have to worry about terrain more. But if they could get a straightaway, they could probably catch up to you in as much, if not less time. It's just that, like I said, I did roll for the pilot. He rolled valiantly. The difficulty dice rolled harder because he's driving a big stonking vehicle. So they've had to go low and slow around because they're not finding good terrain to take this giant thing on.
Sorry. Lucky was
All
playing with a popsicle stick and a rubber band, and I shot the popsicle really, really far.
That'll happen. We're bands, guys.
Rubber bands.
Okay.
All right. So, honestly, shoot. I think we might as well call it a day. Do the pyre, do the stuff, unless you guys actually want to do anything. Like, shoot, because no point in setting out now. Might as well, wait till we have the.
I mean, you've guys got a few more hours of daylight. What you probably want to do is before night sets in, is you want to do that big repair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's just get all that in the way.
But
so, like,
that
maybe,
would
like,
probably be a good point to just stop your day, batten down the hatches, let this baby warm up, and get ready to get out of here at first light.
Yeah. So
I was wondering. Yeah, I assume it's not a normal. I assume it's not a normal thing to have it just like running in a direction as like some people sleep and stuff.
You speak to this about Yzma. She does say that they have. If you can get the drivetrain fixed, technically this thing's got like multiple speeds. Like it's a crawler. You could set it on low on economy and have it gently through the night. But how that would work is they'd usually have a couple of like at least one person would be on shift overnight to make sure nothing breaks, because if your shit breaks, you will freeze to death. So they usually do that anyway. You could theoretically do that. she doesn't know how well that's going to work out for you guys because, she's the only one who has experience with the local terrain, and she tells you she's not a driver. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to do an overnight shift.
No, that's not.
All right. It was worth considering.
Okay. All right. So we'll do mechanics first because that requires a check.
Yeah.
One of you go ahead and make me, this time it's only an average mechanics check to fix because you have fixed up a lot of the other problems.
Okay.
You can figure out your various skilled assistants. And like I said, even if you don't need their blue dice, everybody else is probably pitching in just because, like I said, you guys have to like get up in the guts of an ice tractor.
I would take my
Ice
4
tractor.
mechanics, and then I guess everyone
Okay.
else gives you a boost.
Yeah. So that would be.
probably at least-
Just get a
however
couple
many?
boosters for those.
5.
So a couple boosts.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll probably max.
Oh,
Damn.
That's you.
thank you.
Okay, so I guess just put that into success.
So 7-3.
Unless would be better to have advantage.
No, I mean, you already got 3 advantage. Not really.
Okay, so I'll put those light into success.
That's like.
All right. So
over-
you find a lucky case where actually this damage isn't as bad as you thought. Yeah, there was that explosion, but that just like knocked something out of its bracing. It's not actually broken. You just have to reset it. So
This thing's surprisingly sturdy.
you're able to like actually like fix everything. You do have to like find a new bolt or something that was bent out of shape by an explosion, but it's really really easy to like reset everything. Honestly, it probably takes you as much if not longer to actually like safely test everything, test the engines working, testing the cockpits working with throttling and stuff. And yeah, you're actually able to, get everything secured fairly fast. And with that, with enough advantage and with enough helpers, you're basically able to fix any other immediate pressing mechanical issues that you've got. Like, you guys can't without specialist tools patch any of the patch the like broken out skylight or anything. Don't worry, it's been tarped over. Or replace like a broken headlamp, but you can make sure, okay, all the wiring works, all the fuses work, battery bank works, heaters all work, like all the various subcomponents that are important, you can make sure work or fix them. So you're pretty set to go. That probably does still take you, another hour or 2 worth of work just to dot all your I's and cross all your T's, because this is one of those things that you don't just write off.
Yeah.
It means we probably have time to like make some distance as we let this thing warm up and stuff.
Yeah, you guys can probably, if you want to, because obviously you don't want to have to hike back, because so you'll get your pyre started. But while you're testing, you guys can probably cover, a few dozen, if not a couple 100 meters, depending on how much you want to go. Axe is doing his impatience thing again and really wants to make up imaginary miles.
Sorry. I was gonna be like, we should probably like, if we can, because it's like.
No, we're not. Stop asking.
I mean, like, it's fair. Like, if you want to do a little shakedown to make sure everything does run, you probably do still have like an hour-ish of daylight just because your mechanical men are wizards. You could probably still run this thing at full speed before dark just to make sure it doesn't break anything else. But that is entirely on your pilots and mechanics if they want to like work that out. It should be functional.
Yeah.
You do have a little bit of time, but no, you don't have much time to make any. You can't make any serious ground before it would be like dinner, lights out, sleep.
Fair enough.
Or
I'm
be
sorry.
Yeah, why are you so impatient to get there, my dude?
It was more of like daylight.
I mean,
and
I will say, yeah, it's again. That's why I said they're imaginary miles. The miles don't actually matter. You'll get there when you get there. That'll rely on skill rolls. Like, I get that we like to move forward and make sure we're doing stuff in the sessions that matters. But no, that's imaginary miles. That in this point doesn't matter. So yeah, you can, because even Marth's saying this, you guys can, like I said, you can give it some goose, make sure to get the gas going, make sure everything functions, but you will not significantly alter. All right, Loth, that's just very rude. I just won't be captured in the video because unless Lucky got a Steam pop up in video, but I think he's window capturing.
Yeah,
but I should explain it. I just saw a Steam pop up that Loth is playing Oxygen Not Included right now.
Look, I reinstalled it to see if it worked. All right.
Uh-huh.
Take the two on my-
Sure.
Okay. Anyway,
Asleep.
All right, but yeah, let's
Yeah.
do like a half-hour shakedown, make sure everything runs, and then batten down the hatches and prep
Yeah.
for.
yes, everything works. There are no catastrophic failures. You don't like slip a tread. You don't pop any bars. Brakes work. All that stuff. Exhaust seems to function. And you can actually like, you know, we can communicate some of that. Camo can because this would be Pilot Planetary BT dubs to drive this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Camo can give it a little bit of an open throttle to see how far this thing can go. And yeah, no, it's you guys did a brilliant enough job fixing the engine that yes, this thing gets maximum torque out of everything still. Now, admittedly, you're moving tons of shit on tractor treads, basically, right? So it's not speedy by any means, but boy howdy, it has inertia.
Yeah.
Get up and go.
Yeah, and the treads and everything are designed to be like they have special patterning to like move snow out of the way, and grip ice surfaces. Isma just warns you what, because they're all nomads are taught the basics of operation in case of a pinch, but she doesn't know any of the specifics. She tells you like converses with you about like, okay, here's the basics of like how to tell thin ice from thick ice, kind of a thing, and you've got good eyes, so you should be set to do that.
Yeah.
There are technically 2 seats in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a room for a co-pilot or radio man to get up there. Other than that, it's mostly standing room only up there, unfortunately. But yeah, okay, you guys are set. You have a nice fortifying dinner. In this case, we probably do load up on, especially on fatty foods. Eastman will actually break out some instant sweetbread stuff. Like they've got some yeast cultivars. You can mix with water, get some sweetbread. Big heavy foods, so everybody sleeps. They know how this works. If you guys want it, I don't know what your policies are, but these guys absolutely have some fucking hooch, Yeah. They've got a still. Sometimes they clean it out with alcohol. Hey, funny how that works. So yeah, no, there are absolutely some like glass jars of shit if you want to drink it.
I'll have some. Hang on.
Yeah.
No, Loth. You put the wrong one. I actually have to find the fucking video here.
Oh, okay. But Boots will have some hooch, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you get your glass jars and you take a sip. It tastes like burning, but you're warm afterward.
Huh.
You're warm. Your sinuses are clear. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
You drink a little. You sweet bread. You sit in the lamplight. Do you guys want to sleep all at once, or are you going to do watch shifts?
Honestly, I think we can probably sleep all at once. We're in something big, heavy, and metal.
Oh yeah. And again, I don't want to put any words in you guys' mouth, but I feel like you guys would feel a little awkward about stealing a recently dead guy's room. So you guys are probably sleeping in the big communal cot hall.
Yeah.
Isma still has her own like private room she had that she will bunk in for the night, but the rest of you guys can sleep in the communal area. Rack up. Honestly, for the clones, it's probably no weirder than your bunks back at barracks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are, believe it or not, a fuck ton of lovely handmade blankets of various types and fibers.
Wonderful.
Boots jumps up in a high hammock. There, like I said, there are some foot lockers and racks if you need to store your kit, because you probably won't want to sleep in full armor. There is a sink or something if you want to like wash your hands and face, but again, you would not. I don't actually know what Arctic cultures do about like bathing and cleanliness, but I know from how cold works, you would not want to like do like a full-blown shower or bath without a lot of drying off, because if you have moisture on your body, you will fucking die.
Yeah,
So-
let's
It's probably
for
just
like
it's probably just just a wipe down.
Yeah, like there are hot water. There's a hot water sink, a mirror, like a piece of polished metal and glass, and like towels to wipe off, so you guys can clean up. You probably have been sweating a little because, especially your mechanics, because actually I don't even know if Wevuguk sweats per se, but Camo's definitely done probably a little bit of sweating because you're in your insulated armor and stuff in a
Mhm.
confined space that was very warm because it was not venting properly.
yeah, there's probably some. She's probably gonna be busy for like a few minutes cleaning up.
All right, everybody cleans up. You store your shit. You sleep. You are not stabbed in the night.
Yay.
Yeah.
Morning comes. Uh, the Cloney boys and probably the two Nomads are up first because you guys have exacting military hours, and the Nomads are used to waking up at first break of day. So
Because
Uh,
you gotta make sure the weather's okay.
well, yeah. So basically, you guys are probably actually doing similar things. Yzma sends Lynn to like fire up the pot, get calf going, get the griddle on.
Yeah.
Um,
Boots is probably
and
gonna help
she
with that.
herself probably there's a little insulated hatch right by the cockpit where you're supposed to like poke your head out and check the weather.
All right,
Um,
so do
I
we roll
think-
for that?
Yeah, I think being weather eye is because that's a function of a survival check with leg advantage. So yeah, I think just for your general course plotting and stuff, go ahead and make me a. Let's see. Okay, what do I put in my notes about the survival check? I think it's supposed to be okay. It's average. Yeah, so we'll go with average.
I'll do it as I assume
Did
Yzma's
you-
assisting to like
Yeah.
assess.
Course plotting and stuff. She can give you an assistance with her charts and
sure.
her instruments.
Okay, just like maybe like a boost. She's got any like? stuff
Yeah, just
herself?
take a boost. I don't because she doesn't have hard and fast stats, so we won't figure it out.
That is fair.
Yeah, Boots helps with Bruck. They probably have some something resembling like a hash brown or something, like some kind of
Yes.
some kind of hearty root vegetable you can fry in oil. For hot breakfast.
Arctic calf
Again,
breakfast.
they've got calf, hash browns, a small cachet of eggs if you guys want omelets or something. Because there
They
are
have-
egg-bearing creatures out here.
Do they have breakfast sausages?
No, probably not. But they do probably have bacon-esque cuts of Tundra Strider meat.
We're for shot.
Okay. Eggs, bacon, and hash browns. A champion's breakfast.
The Jedi wake up, do stretches. Europa will join your morning meditating and exercising routine in her own way.
Yes. Start the day with the basic forms.
3 success, 1 advantage. Just
We
to...
will
Yeah, I
start
gotcha.
with physical conditioning.
Oh no.
What?
It's a
Fallen Order quote.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Calcus is his master. Starts all his training. Begin with physical conditioning, and then he makes you double jump and wall run. We begin with platforming. Master, I wanted to learn hack and slash today. Platforming. It is the basis. All right. So with 3 success, 1 advantage, you get at your binos, you poke your head out. Little bit of a gentle breeze today. There's a little bit of cloud cover. It's a little overcast, but it's fast moving. It doesn't look like there's going to be any storm systems today. At
Mhm.
worst, you might have to deal with some light snow passing over you, but nothing too serious. And it looks like there's no obstructions in your path, Mr. Camo Man.
Okay.
So it's you did your survival. Your course
Oh,
is
that's
plotted. Weather is good. You tuck back in, and breakfast is ready.
All right.
All right. So everybody eats. If you guys have any like morning chores you need to figure out, we can figure that out. Otherwise, time for just a little drivo check.
All right.
Okay. Drivo check.
Webu, I assume I'll help you because
Yeah.
what's your planetary check?
Mine is 4 yellow, 2 green, and I have force dice to it.
4 yellow, 2 green. Oh, okay.
I meant 2 yellow, 2 green. I meant.
Okay. Well, that's basically something I'd got, so I'll just help you. So
All right. So add a boost die because his skill level is the same as yours, but add the
Okay.
we're the
force
same
dice.
kind. I think we're both cunning 4, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So
Cameras. Yeah.
your ride doesn't go very fast. But the terrain's not crazy, so we won't make this like the extra special terrain check. This will just be a let's go with an average pilot planetary check. Now this thing does have handling of -1, but I do believe Wevu you remove that setback die.
I think it's like skilled pilot.
Yes, I believe you have the talent for piloting that removes the
Oh
setback
yeah,
dice.
skilled jockey, which one setback -1 setback per rank, and from piloting in space for planetary checks.
Yep. Okay. So you would normally add one black die for just how awkwardly this thing handles, but
Yeah,
you do not
okay.
because you're good at this. So
Okay.
Right.
Tender.
box and drive.
Yes. Okay. I guess I'll pour more of that into success.
All right, fair enough. All right. Unafraid of the throttle, Wevu, after you guys get all the dishes put away, Wevu climbs in the driver's seat. Camo sits in the co-pilot seat with like the radio and stuff. You've probably got some quote unquote scopes mounted on this thing, as in literally there's a pair of like macro binocs bolted onto the dashboard or something you can look through, right? But Camo's probably, he's navigating. You've got the charts and stuff. Wevu slams that throttle lever all the way up. You just hear this, rumbling roar as the engine gets going. All your gauges spin up, and you get this thing up to its whole. Let's see. You get it up to a whole maybe 30 or 40 kilometers per hour. And it just starts, trundling through the snow. For those of you in the back, depending on what you're doing, it may be a little bit of a bumpy ride because, hey, shock absorbers are a luxury. But also, this thing weighs probably a literal fucking ton, if not several, actually, and is on 4 tractor treads. So it's also not exactly like rocking and rolling. And with 3 advantage, like because it's like 2 halves that are like hooked together, right?
Yeah.
This thing's it's not stable. It's also not like a rocky ride. Like Wevu manages to avoid any like big rocks or obstructions with some careful applications of the pedals. Wevu, you are surprised to find that this thing has 8 pedals, even though there's only 4 directions, but you make it work.
This.
Sheila!
Like, he said 4, huh?
You also find when you accidentally flip a switch, you do have wipers. You turn those quickly off because you don't need them.
What is this even?
And there are a fair number of unmarked knobs and switches.
Ah.
At one point, you probably find something that is the equivalent of like a cigarette lighter, right? It's not like, that would be like completely antique to you guys, like a complete anachronism. But it's full of stuff. But you are driving very well. The Force helps you instinctively figure out what pedal to push and what lever to flip. A couple of times you do pass over some small rocks. The treads just don't care. This thing, plows through snow drifts. It's probably actually got a small snow plow on the front, just in case. A cow catcher even. And just like, yeah, no. All obstacles are nothing before you.
This thing's actually kind of beastly to it. Like it does what it does pretty well.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, I might have some notes about some statarinos you use. These things are fairly solid. This is a decently big model, so it's probably got like I said, it's handling -1. The system strain threshold is probably like 15 or 20, but it's probably got a good 30 or 40 hull threshold, right?
Mhm.
Like it's still for itself. It's a chunky boy.
Chunk.
And yeah, you guys ride on through the day. You know, technically there's probably like normally there should be like a shift change for like a meal break. You guys can either like pop a break or the nomads also have a good culture of travel food. So you guys can probably be prepared the equivalent of like a wrap. Like they probably have like flatbreads or something they can wrap up some meat and veg in, feed you.
Yeah, you see this bread, we like stick some fat in it, we throw a little bit of dry cheese, some meats, soaks it all up, keeps warm.
And you
it's
can
good.
eat it one-handed.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. It's great.
Yep. Travel food.
You know, there's and worst comes to worst, they have plenty of pemmican and jerky.
Tricky.
Yes.
Good old time.
Actually, what is pemmican? I know what pemmican is, but I don't know what it is, you know? What is in it? Let's see here. Mixture of tallow, dried meat, and dry berries used in nutritious foods. Historically, it's an important part of indigenous cuisines in certain parts of North America and is still prepared today. Comes from the Cree word pihikan, which itself is derived from the word pini, fat, grease. Interesting.
Huh.
I probably like butchered all of that, but whatever.
No, that's fine. Yeah, so yeah, no, they've absolutely got all kinds of survival foods you guys can just eat and power through. And it is probably after lunchtime because again, this thing is not exactly fast.
No,
like
we're
you
just
guys absolutely could have closed this distance faster in your speeder bikes, but you were at capacity. Funny how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And in the distance, you know, you see maybe even through a gentle snowfall now. You guys, well, the two in the cockpit anyway. See, the only way that the other player characters or NPCs would probably see is either if they like really want to cram themselves into the cockpit area. Like I said, it's mostly standing room only in there if you're not in the two seats, or actually like lean out one of the various hatches or windows to see. But that would be cold. But the front seat out of there, you see. First, you see the silhouettes of maybe a dozen or so ice crawlers, a mix of tracked vehicles and wheeled vehicles. Again, none of these are standard, so like looking at the hulls, Camo and Wevuguk can see. Some of them are like converted cargo haulers, right? Like just giant, you know, space, you know, like 18-wheeler kind of a thing, right? Like just big bouncy tired cargo haulers. Some of them look like they're modified from like construction vehicles. Others, you look at them and you're like, that's got to be like a complete custom built. Like from its parts were either assembled from scrap or built from the ground up into this shape. Some of them actually probably look like exploration or survey vehicles. You know, with various tank treads, lots of big lights and sensor towers and stuff, etc. Some even probably look like the equivalent of like a literal space RV, right? Like a ground car or wheel car that's designed for people to live in it. And they are parked around a big ice hole, goes directly into the ocean below. And you know, as you guys pull up, you can see there's already a couple of squads of people ice fishing. You may even see some polar bear style, the swimming group, not literal polar bears, but some people are going all in. They you know, they rub up in like whale blubber or something, and they go for a fucking dive in the ocean.
I found
Hunting
one.
for they're taking like small spears or knives. They're coming back with bundles of seaweed, chunks of coral. Some of them have even caught some fish spearfishing.
Yeah.
All running up. You see some guys have a larger and more primitive version of your own water purifier. Looks like there's doing some water desalination out here. Getting some new fresh water. And there's one big vehicle that as you guys are approaching, Isma leans into the cockpit and makes sure to point out to you guys and says, "That's the big important one. That's the tanker." And it looks like it. It's a literal tanker truck. Straight out of like Mad Max or something. Big fuel tankers. You might even see the like half-faded, long-forgotten logo of an ancient fuel company on the side. And that's loaded up with large segmented fuel tanks and refining equipment too. Turns crude oil into a variety of fuels. You actually see a couple of smaller ice crawlers parked up next to it with pipes running straight to them to fuel them up.
Interesting.
So because there are a lot of people here, I'm gonna like brush over your introductions. I'm assuming you're gonna like give your name, rank, and serial number as usual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of nomads here. Like I said, there's probably a dozen or so of their vehicles. The technical community leader here, it seems, is that is the tanker crew. Its captain, as he's called, is Exodin Gil. I know it's double Y double L, but it's Gil.
Gil.
Fun name.
Star Wars at its
Gil.
finest.
And basically he is, the captain, the master craftsman of the tanker. He explains that depending on the crawler, you'll find different things. Like some small crawlers are like extended family, grandparents, father, mother, uncles, aunts, cousins, whatever, all piled into one big crawler. Others are more of like collections of community specialists, right? Like the one you're in. And actually, the tankers run this way. They operate on an apprenticeship model. Basically, anybody who's got the right kind of skills to serve on the tanker can come out of their own community and serve on it. And they go through the ranks. So, Exodin Gale is one of like 2 or 3 fuel masters, people who have mastered all the technology of the tanker and know how it all works and are training journeymen and women and apprentices. So different kinds of things. There are multi-purpose crawlers that families live in that have like a little bit of everything, workshop, food, living space, etc. There are a lot of specialized rigs. I mentioned before, there's some that like focus on traveling and stuff with people. Others are like, for instance, another thing along with the tanker is like a rolling garage, right? Basically, like it's a big tracked vehicle that is almost literally a garage shed on treads. Like it can park almost any of these other vehicles under it to do repairs, possibly immobile. You actually meet a machine that since Isma talked about this with droids she's never seen before. They're actually specialists. They work by salvaging various droid models and repairing them. If you want to double check, I'll tell you right now. They don't have any like old B1 battle droids or anything in stock. But if you want to ask them about if they've seen any droids, they might actually know. But like they actually like salvage and rack droids that are destroyed out here. You probably actually find some like ancient Republic probe droid models that got nuked by the weather that they've dug up and repurposed. There are multiple mobile greenhouses which grow fresh fruit and vegetables in the back.
Powerful. Yeah,
so like, and almost immediately you guys are probably, swept up in this giant sense of community. Like, you guys pile out of your crawler and introduce yourselves, and Issa tells them the story, and like, it's all like fucking hugs, cheek kisses, shaking mittened hands, everybody just kind of comes together. The news spreads from crawler to crawler, on the grapevine. And before you guys can probably like walk 10 feet away to converse, like I said, with Captain Gil, because he's, like I said, kind of a community leader. Like, you guys have probably met at least one person from every tanker, every ice crawler crew who has come by to like offer their commiseration. What's the other word? Their condolences to like Isma for the loss. And a couple of people who have come by to very clearly like stare up and down the crawler you came in an appraising manner. Like people are already figuring out how they're going to like repurpose this machine since it's undercrewed right now.
I mean, it's their way of their way of life, you know.
Yeah, it's not our crawler.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You guys kind of talk with Gil. He's very relaxed and kind of like, all right, well, my teacher always told me about the Republic and how to respect them. You know, we don't see much government folk out here, but we'll try to help you as best we can. Definitely not a proper thing going on in the community. You know, with these attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors and stories. I mean, you can go out and into the folk. We're all going to be parked up here for days, if not weeks, trading, refueling, fixing. Now we got an empty crawler we got to figure out what to do with. It'd be a shame. You know, that model's been running since I was an apprentice. So we'll have to find something to do with it. Worst comes to worst, we'll have to scrap it and break up the parts between the remaining crawlers. Hope it don't come to that, Ratley. But you can check with anybody here. But I've heard stories, you know, of attacks. People have been talking about metal men out on the plains. I thought it was just a bally rumor till just now. You asked me about it. I've got a couple of I've seen a couple of technical wizards who you would technically call armorers, but we don't really do much more for that. Like, I mean, every nomad knows how to fire a slug, knows how to clean a rifle.
Bang.
We don't carry live firing weapons on the tanker. It's against our rules for obvious reasons.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But he points out like one of those looks like more machine type crawlers. One that's actually like for those of you who have played Cyberpunk, I think might just be Lucky and me, but like how the Aldecaldos and the Nomad camp have those trailers that like open up on the sides where like the Ripper dock and that little restaurant are, right?
Yeah.
Like this ice crawler has basically like locked down, dropped some ladders, its sides have fucking popped open, and they are running a literal machine shop or trade shop out of here, trading little things back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You hear one guy call out that he needs a new wrench set. He's got couple of kilos of metal to trade. He pulls out some like copper ingots or iron ingots, kind of like what you guys found earlier on that Nomad to trade stuff like that. Another one is like walks up from one of the mobile greenhouses with a basket full of space apples to trade.
Space apple.
But like Exodus points this out and it says, I think they've got a reloading bench up there, load ammunition for people, folks like that. All the little things. But heavy armor, no, that's not common to us. I don't even think the Springfolk do armor that way. They have some light mails if they want to go to war, but I don't think we've had a clan war up in these parts for a couple of generations. Mostly folks stick themselves to themselves, or if they get in a scrap, it's real personal, I'm sure if you've spoken to Yzma, she's told you. We all know the stories, right? Don't if a herd is marked, you don't take from a Springfolk herd. The Springfolk know the same. If they see a Nomad hunting, we don't try to steal each other's kills. They don't knock over our wells or anything. We don't fuck with any of their springs and whatnot. We know to keep our separate ways of life. And if there's a matter of offense, as there might be between two cultures, especially when there's so much hard living for both of us, means a lot of hard partying. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kind of nods. Probably nods as you see slightly underdressed people drinking out of clear glass jars go by, yelling and hooting and hollering. Day drinking, stuff like that,
It's life.
Got nothing else to do. Time to drink.
It's like probably like they're probably like some people are like not necessarily fishing for like tips so much as like there are just casual entertainments. There are probably people with, traditional drums, because drums are pretty easy to make in this environment. Drums, maybe a little fire dancing, even stuff like that. You see merriment amongst all the hardship. These people have come together in a big communal mass, and they seem to be doing all right. But yeah, he basically points out that like if things get heated, you might get a night raid, but it would not be like he points at some of the obvious scorch marks up on your crawler you came in that you haven't had time to scrub off, right? Like,
Right.
won't look nothing like that. I'll tell you what, ma'am. I would never cross a Springfolk hunter. They're hunters. They call themselves the Jaeger folk. I would never cross one. They've got a traditional way of pouring a big, bloody, great two-handed sword. He holds up, like 2 meters arm span, right? Like a big 6-foot plus blade. The kind of thing that'll knock the neck right off a wool shark, but nothing like this. Fire is important to both of us. Keeps you alive, keeps you warm, keeps the darkness at bay.
You wouldn't abuse it for harming
Nah,
others.
you wouldn't. As a weapon? Nah, you'd be hell. I would almost say, other than he like reaches over and pops one of the giant tire wheels he's got on his tanker. Other than this girl, where fire is right dangerous to us. I'd almost say if you tried to set a man on fire, you were giving him a present. It's alien to me, I say. But I can probably ask around. We're gonna have a big meeting, communal meals. We'll run out some stuff, share food alike, make sure everybody's well fed tonight. Hopefully there's some good fishing out there or some hunting. We can't hunt en masse, of course, but everybody's got food to share. I'll ask around tonight, and we can see if we can get anybody to give you any rumors or any discussion.
I super appreciate that.
I can talk to all the leaders. Not everybody runs on a captaincy model. Sometimes you got, the oldest elder in a family pack, or whoever built or maintained the machine. I will say there are some times when crawlers do get abandoned and they get salvaged later. So we've got some different things, but we can definitely get some stuff together. And speak. I'll get them all together. It's been a little while since we had to have a little caravan council of war. My fuel master taught me once about maybe 50 seasons back. Right at this here watering hole, there was a shade worm that came to nest up in here. We had to get together, I think 6 or 7 convoys. He, holds up his hands, doing another probably like 6 feet span. Some of them were using bloody great harpoons. We had to scare it on out of there. Terrible fight. But we know how things are get done around here. Don't you worry. So if that'll be happening at night, obviously. If you guys want to ask around yourselves, since you are in a big blob of people, you guys can go ahead, and anybody who wants to can make me an average streetwise check. Because these are the streets. Also, there's that joke about Vikings, right?
Yeah.
No, if you guys had talked to the spring folk, they would absolutely be talking with this accent, laddie.
Oh no, they're the Scots.
They're fucking Arctic
They're
Scots.
Scots-Irish.
They're the Scots.
This is the spring folk dialect.
At least have fun with it.
Claymore.
I was thinking that was a Zweihander. Oh well. Anyway.
I'm giving him a check.
Average?
Yes, average.
I'm gonna spend a destiny point because we got a bunch of these anyway.
You do got a lot. It's a good time.
Yeah, but just.
Okay.
Let me just. There we go.
Wait, Axe, what did you roll for it first? Oh, you upgraded then. Okay, then spent. Okay. I'm confused.
I was typing it
Yeah,
out.
you rolled it and then you spent. Okay, so
Yeah.
2 successes is your result. Sorry, I was a little confused
like,
with the
I was
order
gonna,
also,
I was
but I
gonna
got it.
spend it, but I already.
I was
like,
that's
typed
why I
it
was like
out.
confused. Like, wait, you rolled.
You typed your check and then you were like, oh, by the way, I am spending on this check. Okay, that's fair. It is kind of a pain in the butt to type out all the letters. Okay, 2 success. You ask around. So you get some core information. So, the basic impression people get, there's a lot of rumors, right? Everybody, by the time you actually get out there and talk, it's almost hard to tell. Was this a rumor when before you got here or when you got here, right? Like,
Yeah.
but the Metal Men story has spread everywhere, right? Everybody agrees with what Exodus said, which is that this is not how tribal warfare goes around here. Like, everybody knows a story from their grandfather or their grandfather's grandfather about how, like, one time maybe a nomad convoy, pissed off a springfolk camp. Like, a lot of which usually involve misappropriation of animals from one side or the other, or Romeo and Juliet type shit, where, like, a nice young springfolk lass decides that she's sweet on a nomad hunter, and they run away together. And because of how tight knit these communities are, usually somebody objects.
Yeah.
And unlike even on Sohaliv in general, like down south in Sohaliv, they still got law. They got lawmen. Up here, the law is a sword, right? Like, the only way to solve an issue is either to agree to let it go, or is either to fight about it or to settle it with resources. So occasionally there are small conflicts, and occasionally there are cooperations. Like, a lot of people remember that legend that Exodus told you about how they basically organized a dragon hunt, right? Or sometimes there are other nasty predators they got to get rid of. Actually, by the way, did you decide against rolling a check, kind of, Aramaa?
Yeah, for me, yeah, no.
But if you guys talk about what you've done, right? Some people have already probably, because you told Isma and Lynn, several people, Aramaa, walk up to you to congratulate you because you killed an ice fisher, and they fucking hate those guys.
Oh.
You probably get, before the day is out, you probably have acquired several tchotchkes of various types of, like, little, like, wool or almost like bead necklace effigies of ice fishers as, like, a little trophy, a little token of appreciation.
Cute. They're going on the shelf.
Because, like, one, this ice fisher, they confirmed killed the Nomad, but also they just hate those fucks. You can't eat them. They're like, even if you could somehow preserve the jelly, they, like, immediately deflate outside of water pressure.
Oh no.
They squoosh down, and they're toxic too. So, like, there is absolutely zero use for these things, other than maybe an enterprising and slightly shady nomad might, like, dry them into a powdered poison for, like, arrowheads or something. But usually they just use guns.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, I mean, there are medicinal uses for a dried neuroparalytic, but mostly, yeah, they're fucking useless and they hate them. So, your legend immediately spreads. The ice puncher is real. But definitely, if not by the time of tonight, by the time of tomorrow night, there will be an interpretive folk dance about this, right?
Yeah.
About the stranger who fucking jumped into
Go
a
back to a
definitely talk
Well, I
about
mean,
the time with
you
the ice
have
fisher, of course.
you're currently still wearing your heavy, spooky mask version of your charm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is absolutely, like, somebody will absolutely copy your mask style, and you will become a stock character in these people's legends. Punched an ice fisher.
You did it.
But yeah, so that's kind of the congratulations you get. So, like, if they find an ice fisher hole, they will absolutely, like I said, they will grease up in whale blubber, and they will get some spears, and they will get in there. They do not like these guys. If they can get away with it, they do have, like, primitive explosives, like space dynamite, pipe bombs kind of stuff, you know? Unfortunately, bullets do not travel very far underwater. That is how that works. So, but no, they will absolutely like scare it out or chase it out if they can. So, they do have cooperation and conflict, but these attacks, like you get a corroboration, are nothing like that. They're really weird. Very few people have actually seen an attack or survived an attack. But with a couple of successes, you do get some key figures from people who have maybe stumbled across a site, like either maybe like a lone vehicle separated out from a convoy and got ambushed, and then the rest of the convoy caught up with them. You find a couple of people with stories like Isma's, right, where like their vehicle stopped so that somebody could go outside and do a thing, and then when they came back, there had been a raid. Or just sometimes these guys travel the same route. Your crawler will roll up on another crawler that's been rolled over, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the impression you get again. I talked about sacred hospitality. A nomad will always stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see another crawler stop down, they will stop. You see people walking in the woods, they'll stop down. They'll even stop down to like for spring folk who they catch out wandering their ways and just like pop a head out and be like, "Hey, y'all all right down there?" That is kind of their version of sacred hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
If you come across another traveler, you stop and make sure he's all right.
Mm-hmm.
So the general impression Camo gets is that, one, these attacks seem to be coming out of a northerly direction,
North.
further up north, closer to the rumors about the World Crown. Not that far north though, but like up that direction, up where shit gets real flat, open, and icy. And where actually a lot of it is where that's where the continental shelf up here is. So the nomads usually don't go that far if they can help it. They prefer the thick ice flows, glaciers, and the small frozen islands if they can help it. Because up on the real tundra, there's fucking nothing out there. Like, unless you really, really want to hunt some rogue tundra striders or some other predators. But they point out that as many supplies are clearly destroyed as taken, and you guys, I didn't make a big deal of it, but you guys sourced this yourself. Like, there were some crates of shit that were pulled out of the storage or dropped out and were clearly, like, burned or destroyed or ransacked through. As many supplies are destroyed as taken, that, again, that's one of the weird things people notice. You would never destroy supplies out here, right? No matter how mad you were at somebody, you would just take their stuff. There are, as far as anybody knows, there are no or very few prisoners taken. Like, you might hear one or two stories of like, well, we counted up all the bodies and one guy was missing, but there are no ransom demands. That's another very common thing in conflicts around here. Like, you know, you run into a lone nomad, gets drunk and like accidentally stumbles into a spring folk village or something, or, you know, a war band of spring folk tries to like ambush your ice crawler. You would beat them up, and if any of them survives, you lock them up and you call their home village and are like, "Hey, what do you trade me to get your guy back?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's none of that, so that's mostly what these guys are focused on. But as you listen to all these stories over and over again, Camo, you do pick out a couple of details. One guy actually, because you're wearing your Pathfinder armor is still clone styled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. One guy actually, he points out, well, it's funny. I saw him through a scope a ways away. There was a metal man with him, right? Some of them were real skinny, right? You know, almost skeletal. You get that he's describing what sounds like B1 battle droids, though. If you literally want them to be described right, you might actually hear that these droids do sound like they weren't exactly like you remember, because he references that they were wearing like really big bulky backpacks. Don't know how something so skinny could carry it. You're gonna guess that's probably the fuel supply for their flame projectors.
Yeah, so it's like probably like flamer droids.
Yeah, basically flame battle droids. But he does point out one of these metal men looked humanoid, right? Big, bulky, shiny armor. He explicitly he traces your T-shaped visor.
Uh-huh.
So he says, look kind of like that, but the colors were all wrong. This was shiny, metallic, not like a plaster or polymer, you know? By the way, that's another thing I should point out as you guys are having a lot of conversation with these people. It's a little weird, like I said. These guys understand how modern technology works. It's just everything they have is like repurposed from like 3 generations, and only the strongest of it has survived.
It's
Yeah.
it's literally
So
like
they can absolutely describe like advanced comlinks, holograms, blasters
Mhm.
to you. It's just they don't have a lot of them.
they just don't have cultural references really.
Yeah, so like the culture is completely different, but if you talk about like scientific shit, they understand you completely. So yeah, this guy describes to you that this person he saw looked like they were wearing a jetpack, right? Maybe even had that capelet you found,
Bonk.
and were wearing like big metallic armor. A second detail you get from all this coordination is that these attacks always happened after a storm. They don't happen before storms. These guys don't like. That's another thing that occasionally spring folk or even nomads will do is they'll hit and fade and get away in a blizzard, right?
Mhm.
These attacks always happen after a storm has passed, and there are going to be several days of clear weather. Which, if you'll remember, when you guys started traveling up here, you guys eyeballed that there would be clear weather for you guys for at least 24 hours or 28 hours, I should say, if not
Yeah.
longer.
So it means that they're coordinating it to be like, since they know they have droids for most of their troops, they're coordinating to know when it's clear to actually strike.
Wait.
Yes.
Let me is this after an ion storm or like a regular blizzard kind of storm?
Either. Basically,
okay.
they wait until if a major weather event is about to happen, they wait until after it happens to strike and like has clearly moved on and died down.
So they know they
Um,
won't get any interference with their equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This
Okay.
is another like these people will point this out because everybody has heard stories of like I said they have their own like folk legends of like a guy stole some offerings, like he found some they describe it as alternatively something like precious metals like gold or silver. He stole some like gold or silver jewelry from a shrine, but it turned out to be like a nomad sacred shrine, and they came out of a blizzard, killed him, and took their stuff back, and then they faded with the snow. Yeah, this isn't like that. I think between you guys, you have enough points in knowledge warfare. I can safely say you guys can assume that this is probably it's probably like what Camo's theory is in some regard. They are avoiding the difficulties with using advanced technology, whether it's their droids or their own armor systems and propulsion, by basically being like, they're probably camped out somewhere shielded and fortified, right? And they wait for a major storm front to pass, and then when they know the weather is going to be clear in an area, they go out and strike. Oh
Interesting
yeah,
spot,
actually,
it's
and one more
different.
thing is, because you guys may want to check in with themselves, but the locals do know because, like I said, it's not like they're completely out of contact. There probably are similar rumors from the spring folk at the same time. Like probably a couple of villages may have been hit as well.
Ah, okay.
Means they're probably searching for something or just trying to destabilize the region, but I'm not sure.
I mean, from the way the attacks are described, you've only got like 2 successes and no advantages for like any extra spicy side facts. But just general information, it does sound like these are, well, maybe not fully terror attacks. They are definitely terror tactics or area denial. Like these guys are not getting any strategic assets by ambushing nomad vehicles or springfolk villages.
Yeah.
Right. It might mean that there's someone already else.
And honestly, like Boots rolled fucking phenomenally on that medicine check for like field autopsy. Like he didn't find anything that looked like say an execution style killing, right? Like these guys are not like lining everybody up, asking them questions and shooting them all. No, this is a raid. They do prefer to seem to leave no survivors, so they're a thorough raid. But this is not a lot of information gathering.
That's
Yeah.
odd.
Well,
Odd considering situation.
I mean, I'll tell you this: you guys can theorize as much as you like. The only way you're probably gonna figure out what they're after exactly is,
Them.
yeah. I think in my notes, my like 2 basic plan ideas is the simpler and more straightforward solution is you guys
Us.
buddy up with the locals and figure out where they're holed up and like look at their actual camp, right? That probably has actual tactical information you need.
Mhm.
Or because I know how player characters work, I think in my notes I do have some notes about how if you wanted to like stage a fake convoy or something so you guys can get ambushed and counterattack, But
I was totally thinking about that, but not.
I don't know if you guys want to do that with just the 6
No.
of you
I wouldn't think
and
about
some
doing that.
locals.
I'm thinking about that's a thing that would have been done by someone. But yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely in my notes somewhere.
From what it seems like to me, it's not necessarily that they're trying to get anything, but mostly I think they're trying to keep people away from something.
Yeah, I think.
Which might mean.
I mean, so Skirt can possibly even sheepishly bring this up yourself. You do know that the Separatists do have a habit of hiring mercenaries and rabble rousers to keep people away from archaeology sites. On the other hand, you're not sure how they would know about the Polar Vault because you guys only got that by actually not only discovering the Black Garden facility, but going inside it and punching an ancient security guard and talking to a weird computer lady, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like
you
they had
guys did a lot of extra steps to figure out there was something here.
Well, to be fair, I'm not gonna be the one that says that the Black Rock Garden was the only fucking site on this planet.
Oh yeah, God no. You mean you
Well,
already
there might
know
be
there are
something
more
on the other
sites?
continent, there might be something on the other continent the Separatists are on.
Yeah, like they could be
So,
fun. They can
yeah.
have their own fucking plot tokens that led here. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that is a theory. You do know that is a thing they do. Is they have tried to deny both you guys literally and locals access to assets.
But
You
so...
also you don't know for sure, but you do remember from the limited survey. The magnetic field is supposed to be more active up. Like it's supposed to be more active than it should be up at the poles.
Mhm.
It's entirely possible because actually that's a good question. Does anybody have a point of knowledge education in this group at all?
No.
I think Europa does, but that's it.
Oh.
All right. Europa Europa's got knowledge all
Knowledge
basically.
all.
So
No, no,
like
yeah.
yeah.
I've-
But
I've-
she's a scholarly type. She would know like if you ask her like, well, planetologically it's entirely possible that this place is so unique because there could be higher than normal deposits of metallic minerals up here. Soholiv is not known for its heavy metal deposits, but there must be some in a terrestrial planet. It's
Considering the
entirely
Separatists,
possible
they
they're more
usually, like-
concentrated in the poles.
Considering a lot of Separatist tactics where they usually like checking everywhere to pick it clean.
Yes, they could absolutely be hunting for resources up here.
How much cred you want to bet that there's some weird Gartner tech out of whack at the Polar Vault?
Wouldn't deny it.
Well, all roads.
Well, Europa will be like, well, I'm not stupid enough to bet credits on it, but I will bet you dinner.
Yeah, well, from the best I can tell from right now, the weird magnetic pull and the Gardner technology might not be unrelated to each other. So, all in all, I think our best.
We do know that the gardeners' ideas of both security technology and power technology are very different from our own in the wider galaxy. So, I wouldn't say it's out of the question.
No, it's not out of the question. So, regardless,
If this is actually a storage facility, I suppose. She like looks up at the weather. That's certainly one way to protect your secrets.
I mean, if it's like a way to basically negate it where people can't find it via sensor technology.
Well, that is true. I've checked back the planetary records in the colony as far back as they'll go. Nobody's ever done a very thorough sensor survey of these polar areas. That's actually part of the reason why we came up here is some of these locals. She like gestures around to some of the people lurking around. There are probably some small nomad children who like and run away as they get pointed at. Because they were huddled close to the cool people.
yeah, we cool
these
too.
pe-
Oh no.
These people probably have better charts and records than we do about some of this place. Though I don't.
You should probably try to.
Some of the people you've talked to would have said they don't go that far north.
I'm gonna go get some height and see if I can contact mobile and see how far away they are.
Good idea.
All right, you can check in with them. There are probably some small hills or dunes, or you just climb back on top of your parked ice crawler.
Just climb back in the crawler.
Alright. He settles back up with the crawler.
Did
While he's taking a comms break. Any of you guys got any other ideas?
Well, like I said, no. Regardless, it seems that.
Oh, actually, sorry. I just remembered something I interrupted myself on. real quick, I did want to, because talking about metallic elements also, you have heard from several people that, well, obviously the Nomads have some sources of metals, but that is also a thing Springfolk will do, is they have small mines for, like, in addition to the fact that there's crude oil up here, there are also coals, right? Because fossil fuels. And they do have some kind of metallurgy, right? Like, the guy described to you, they have giant swords. That must mean they're digging up iron out of somewhere, because they're not melting down Nomad ice crawlers for scrap to make swords.
Yep.
Unless they are, but they're probably not. That's not how you build an industry up here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, Lucky, you were saying in the middle of your thought there.
So, regardless of what it looks like, it seems like that both are quest lines, but like leads us to the north.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of narrowing down the search location.
Yeah, and considering you're probably gonna go try to find the camp first.
Well, honestly,
So you guys could scout yourself. You guys have your own vehicles. Eventually, you will have Sierra Mobile up here to like scout from.
Yeah.
Without proper assistance, I'm gonna tell you. Excuse me, sorry, still burpy. That's gonna be a difficult check, which will probably be survival based, to like hunt these guys down grid by grid using what you know about them. And we'll probably have environmental hazards. It would be easier to ask for the locals' assistance, much like how you guys did at Fire Canyon, to basically like eliminate obvious places and at the very least bust out the maps and like scratch stuff off.
Yeah,
right.
And then maybe like
you're probably gonna have to wait for the meeting tonight. So like I don't want to like force you guys to fast forward, but you're probably gonna have to like wait until all the Nomads get together to talk about this to see how much help they can and are willing to give you.
We could probably do that. Let's just just on Sierra Mobile. How long far they say for them?
Well, let's see how they're piloting today. The weather is still clear.
From all the hell from like the information I gave.
Yeah, no, they've got a course, so there's no like shouldn't be any additional modifiers. Though I don't know last time the handling this thing. I don't know if I added it last time.
Handling, I think, is like -2. I think. Let me double check.
It's only -1.
Oh, it's only -1.
It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, -1. Speed 3.
That said, I do believe that a clone troopery boy does not have any generic talents to like remove it. So I will add the 1 black this time.
Yep.
Let's see how it goes. I will roll this off screen with real dice.
Real dice.
That's still pretty good. Is that good enough? Okay, it is actually. Okay. The bad dice were much more kind this time. I rolled a total on, because it's a still 4 vehicle, a 4 difficulty and 1 threat, or 1 setback die. I only rolled 1 threat and 1 failure, so he gets a total of 2 overall success. Okay. All right, so you call Sierra Mobile, you contact them. The pilots and stuff talk to you. You maybe even talk to Motorhead, and basically you hear, Camo, that your charts and navigation stuff really helped. They're finding a lot more secure routes now. Obviously, if the weather turns bad in the next couple of days, they may have to stop, but they can at least now catch up to you in the amount of time you have been traveling. So in about 48 hours, or the equivalent of, would that be on Solo? Would that be? It would be 50-something, I think, hours,
56.
I guess.
56.
56, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, basically in the equivalent of within 56 hours, 2 standard days, 48, if not Sohil of days, they can catch up to your current location, or at least the marked ice watering hole location.
Okay.
Again, like, hey, guess what? If one of you guys rolls like 5 million threat or a despair on a survival check, I might have your friends get bogged down in a blizzard. But assuming nothing goes horribly wrong, they are on track to catch up with you in a couple of days.
All right, cool.
Which means if we want to wait or not, but we'll see.
Well,
that would definitely, if you want to do anything militarily, would give you more resources and give you your own ride.
I'm definitely with that, honestly. We can probably use a couple days to talk to locals, maybe find something. Actually, from here, how far is the nearest Springfolk?
You guys, are working with, you're talking to people.
Yeah.
Probably the closest is that aforementioned Azure Mountain Village. By crawler at this distance, that's probably at least, a daylight's ride, like maybe 2 daylights. You could also just ride through the night. If you wanted, like, there are some people with some lighter vehicles that aren't afraid of that,
I mean, if we take the speeders, we wouldn't
If you
probably
take your speeders, that's probably like for you easily because you're like speed 2, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you ignore certain terrain because you've got repulsors. Again, accounting for weather, you might have to do some night flying if you wanted, but you could probably round trip the whole thing in a day, depending on when you set out.
We could probably plan it out over tonight. Figure it out, of course.
Yeah, if we can talk, maybe get some maps, get a best course, we can go talk to the spring folk. Well, I don't know. Well, that's the other thing. Considering that the spring folk are there, I'm pretty sure they don't have much communication with other spring folk either.
No, but they probably have their own version of the rumor mill, right?
Yeah, but we can see if anything's been weird happening with them.
Yeah.
And then we can come back here, because spring folk seem nice, but if we're going to find something out in the middle of nowhere, we're probably going to have to rely on the Nomads more than that.
Yeah, because they actually have, like, maps of the whole area, usually.
Yeah, but we can talk to the spring folk, see if, like, anything. Because I would not
I really want you guys to go to the spring folk now, and for Camo to say that out loud and say, "Oh, you guys don't have maps," and then they'll put him.
I meant
break his nose.
I meant filled out maps, but
You're still gonna get a headbutt.
Yeah, I know. That's the exact same thing, Camo.
fair enough.
There's a lot of assumptions being made about these people who are large and angry and have big swords.
Fair enough.
They look at you best scouts like that's not a knife.
And it's like, I see your sword, and I raise you 1 fist. Guess what? This fist casts thunder. You now have 2 swords.
Good thing this is like cortosis. Otherwise, I'd be really sad.
Well, I'm talking about their swords.
No, I'm talking about their swords because
Yeah,
her crush gaunts and your best gat are made out of the same thing. They're made out of Mandalorian iron.
Yeah.
Folded 1,000 times. No.
No, it was more like
Though, the props used on the Mandalorian that are made out of Mandalorian iron do have kind of a not quite a Damascus steel look, but definitely kind of a blued steel look. So there's some fun patterning in there. Anyway.
So yeah, let us part of the night away.
All right.
Yeah.
So a little bit after sundown, because like I said, there is a big communal meal like as the sun goes down. Lots of breaking of bread, sharing. You guys probably can park a table wherever you like. Several crawlers or caravans try to invite you to their tables, or you can sit amongst yourselves. Moving around. There's a little bit of before the sun gets too low and the wind gets too high. There's a little bit of folk dancing. They make a couple of big bonfires. Like I said, there's also performances, folk dancing, fire dancing, storytelling. It seems like these people have a strong oral tradition just because it's a pain in the ass to write anything down. Now that they don't have books or anything, it's a real pain in the butt when everything is mobile.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, like I said, after maybe an hour or 2 of this, there is, like I said, kind of a congregation of the captains kind of coming together. These people are just as varied and colorful as their rides, right? Like, there's one, absolutely shriveled old human woman from one of the greenhouses who is like wearing a big, it got to be a plant fiber like woven cloak adorned with preserved flowers and all kinds of weird bead jewelry. Who smells vaguely of potting soil at all times. There's one caravan full of tradespeople, probably that store stall you saw earlier, who's a guy who's probably only in his like early middle age with like a couple of scars, smoking a hand rolled cigarette kind of a thing. Like all kinds of different people. There's at least one guy who just looks like somebody's grandpa. Wearing a big floppy Russian eared hat, right? Scarf over his face. If I could be simultaneously Southern and Canadian, I would. Oh yeah, no. Don't you know?
Don't you
If
know?
only we
Um,
could borrow
just-
Robin's entire vocal cords.
Just kind of a big eclectic group.
Oh yeah, no,
So
a
they get together and they're talking, and basically, they have a little conversation. How much do you want to tell them about the situation, and what kind of input are you asking for? Because they are community leaders. They can come together and have their own discussion. Without you guys, I just want to know, like, what's your input on this convo?
Well, I guess the input will be that there does seem that there'll be separatist droids in the area, and they might be trying to keep people away from something, and they might have and they might have hired Mandalorian mercenaries with them. That means they probably have holed up somewhere, probably in the north.
That's sheltered.
That's probably shelter from the storms and whatnot.
There's one little old man. He's probably like, yeah, boy, I tell you what, there's a lot of caves up in the north. He's smoking a pipe. His eyes are closed all the time. He's just like, caves up in the north. People go up there. I know some guys hide up in there. They hide up in the caves, store things you don't want found. So yeah, there's a lot of this conversation. There's a lot of rada. Walla Walla. The Nomads are not too keen and need no convincing that people trying to tell them not to go places is bad, and they don't like it. The reason why this culture exists is because some of the colonists who went into the Arctic Circle did not want to settle down and be tied to one location for their entire life. So yeah, no. They are not really keen on this, but then there's a decent amount of discussion which could go on for as long as 30 minutes or maybe even an hour about how there's a lot of back and forth about how much they should do, right? Like there's a lot of back and forth. A couple of these people are like, listen, no, we can't go out there with we gotta, we're gonna meet up and trade everything out for a couple of days, maybe a week. If we stay together in a big group like this, we're gonna be safe, but we can't have somebody go off on their own. And then another person's like, but that's just, when we all split, we'll go off on our own. Yeah, but we don't have the vehicles, right? Like, they point up at your dormant crawler, which has been sitting there. Like, we already got to figure out what to do with this. We may even have to scrap it rather than crew it with people. We don't want anybody. We're coming up on the hard winter season. We don't want anybody undercrewed. There's a lot of right. So the general impression you get is that while theoretically, the Nomads would probably be more actively helpful, right? Because the Springfolk are like absolutely masters of wilderness survival, right? They go out here and they hunt and forage occasionally to get extra supplies on foot, basically, or possibly riding tundra striders. They have a lot of hunters, and you even discussed this of like, one of them probably even says, man, it'd be great if we could get some Jaeger folk up here, and they're like, nah, crawlers would be faster, but we don't have any crawlers to spare. So the general impression you get is that for your style of doing things anyway, the Nomads would be more helpful. They would love to like figure out a way to scout. They've even they mentioned, encrypted radio signals. They've got wide band radios and antennas. They could, scout for electronic signs and shit, right? The problem is that right now they don't have any spare vehicles. And so there's a lot of discussion about what they could do, and you start to hear some like whispered conversations, maybe some aside glances. They're like, well, I heard there's some of them vulture types nearby, and they're like, wow, no. Right. So are you guys gonna like ask any questions about that?
Yeah.
Vultures?
I wonder if it would take to wait 2 days.
All right. Okay. So, Exiting kind of takes it on himself to explain. He's like, all right. So obviously, as you can see, we're usually one big happy extended family. You know, everybody got to come together and look out for their own, right? You know, you always stop for another traveler, but everybody's got bad eggs, right? So usually we call them just raiders or vultures. You know, just typical gangers. They're nomads who specialize in land piracy, smuggling, scavenging, active scavenging, if you know what I mean. You know, people who don't want to settle in and learn an honest work doing a trade, or they're so sick of their family they can't stand to stay in their caravan no more. They have their own vehicles. We know because we've been scoping it out in a culvert nearby. Probably less than a day's hike. There's a raid runner, one of their high spec vulture vehicles. It's wheeled, not tracked, and it's designed, unlike a crawler, to be a fast ride. These things are designed to, you know, hunt down other crawlers if they have to, and scav them or peel stuff off. Probably even has some weapons mounted on it. Now, I think they even have some small motor skis, basically snowmobiles. It sounds like not repulsor vehicles, but small outrunners. It should be fast and actually hardy enough for a little bit of fight. These folks are just a nuisance to us, you know. They cause trouble. And we've been discussing it, but while they're parked over there, they're not a problem. And much like your Mandalorian raiders, there's probably too many folk assembled here to think about a raid. You know, be counterproductive. Too many people. I don't care how fancy and metal their armor is. There's more than enough people down here to blow to their noses if it comes to that. One of them even scoffs, heck, just get him with a tow line and drag him in the water. The wool sharks figure him out. Chuckling.
Considering metal and armor,
and yeah, so Exitum basically offers to you of like, listen, we don't care how, but if y'all want to go up to the raid runner, visit these people, they're led by, I think what was her story? I think she's an ex-Springfolk hunter. She abandoned her village to seek life outside. They call her Inkari. I will spell that for you. Names are important.
Okay, so I was about half right with
Yeah,
selling.
I thought it was what
you know, you guys are Jedi. You're great heroes of the Republic. They don't care how. They don't care why. But if you guys want to roll up to the culvert and have a word with Inkari, you can either bargain to borrow their vehicle or beat them up, whatever. That would mean that with that specialized vehicle, they're all about their specialized vehicles, these people.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be sufficient that after they, you know, take a little break to spread out supplies, they'd have an extra vehicle that would be fast enough for you guys to actually and mobile enough to actually get out there and you know, do some scouting. It would have radios to coordinate a search among multiple Nomad vehicles, coordinate even probably with your own vehicle that you know is coming. Though he does, the captains do kind of warn you because they're all used to this experience because they've, like I said, they've occasionally dealt with raiders. You know, they have their own antisocials. If you describe the Juggernaut to them, they'll probably warn you that a vehicle with that big of a profile, if you go all the way up north, will be a little obvious from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
Raid runners, at least, are a little bit smaller and sprier. They describe it as something that's roughly about Silhouette 4, but it's and its only speed would be about the equivalent of speed 2, but it's still like lighter and leaner than what you're working with.
Well, I guess if we want to go in armor with Saul, we'll just roll up with the fucking tank, but otherwise we'll just take it
but
all slow.
this would be basically an extra vehicle for combat. And if they had that with them, they would feel comfortable. And if you explain to them that you have your own combat vehicle, they're also okay with that, but then you guys are literally sitting here for 2 days. So I think that because we've been going for about 3.5 hours and it's getting later, I think our break point tonight will probably be, you guys can decide, like, in the morning, do you guys gonna want to go roll up and talk to these land pirates, basically, and get in there, Or do you want to like fully wait, maybe double check with the spring folk how they would do this, and wait for your juggernaut to show up and see how that goes?
Hmm.
Honestly, well, depending on where the vultures are, man, shoot, like heck, we can probably hit the vultures and the
Spring folk.
And-
They pull out some charts and show it up. I'll figure that out because
Yeah.
it's not like I have a local map.
yeah,
Just kind of describe locations because you guys don't know where anything is up here.
Yeah.
because like I said, even
Okay, all right, you guys are in luck. They are not directly in the same direction, but technically they are in like the same compass direction.
so we might have
it
to,
would
like
probably only be a short detour
yeah, then yeah, we'll put
because
on,
they tell you that the little culvert, the little like dip or valley or whatever they're hiding in, their vehicle is parked in, is a day's hike from here, which probably means a couple hours on speeder bikes.
Yeah.
Which means it's probably like in some kind of like small like incline in the ground.
don't worry about details. So yeah, let's go.
I mean,
let's
that
let's,
is
Hmm?
technically the technical use for a culvert is it's supposed to be like to let water drain under like a road or something, but like it's a tunnel or gap, so like they're
Right.
probably in a small cutout or cave or something.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
we'll point to maps. In the morning, we'll head out here, hit these people up, and we'll get it by, well, we'll either get it through an open hand or a closed fist.
Okay.
By hook or by crook, as they say.
Yes.
Well, Aramaa has her own way of saying things. Yeah. But from there, like I said, if we get the vehicle, well, we'll just take it with us to the spring folk. Hopefully that won't cause a commotion. We'll chat them up, see what's happening. Like I said, I'm not expecting them to be in full-on communications with other people, with their other settlements, but like I said,
Oh.
but
They gotta have something,
they
right?
gotta have something. Like they have
they
to
gotta
they have to
communicate
have
here.
people traveling between
Yeah,
their.
at the very least, they would have
Hunting groups.
runners,
I mean, like they probably
wandering merchants, right?
I mean, they have Tundra Strider herds, so I'm pretty sure they have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've learned. I'm pretty sure they've learned to fucking ride Tundra Striders and probably use them to travel. We just gotta
Probably
see.
like migration charts and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. If you ask people, yeah, no. It depends on the village because not every village has the same output.
Mhm.
But that also just only solidifies your idea of like, well, then they obviously have to trade. But yeah, no, they absolutely will like trade excess. Some ranch, some farm, some hunt.
Supply.
You know.
But like as I said, like if we get some words that like maybe some spring folks been attacked, or maybe some people have gone quiet, or they haven't heard for a while, that might give us a look. And we can probably talk to them about maybe knowing if we can get good with them, we can find out where maybe some of their settlements are more to the north, and maybe coordinate with them later. We just
Like get us down.
because again, if they are being attacked, well, we'll have to impress on them that it's not the Nomads, which might be their first instinct, and that we all need to work together. Together, unity, it's key. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yes.
Plan.
Alrighty.
I mean, like, so it because you obviously are having this conversation with everybody. Some of the captains would like probably point out some of the inconsistencies that Camo was told about in the raids to be like, nah, there's no way Springfolk think it's nomads.
Mhm.
Maybe some of our raiders, but they wouldn't think it's normal nomad warfare.
Kind of excessive. That's a great.
That same really old, shriveled up pipe guy, you know, is just like, been a long time since we went back to war. I'll tell you what.
Well, let's just hope. Let's hope.
I can still hear the screams of the shade worm. He stares his closed eyes into the middle distance. Don't ask me how that works. You may notice that his pipe is carved in a vague dragonish shape
That's a sweet
with
pipe.
like metallic embellishments.
Yeah, very.
It's not made of wood. It's made of a bone.
Yeah, something like that. You know?
Fucking like old style. Like this area is totally a Monster Hunter area.
Yeah.
Where it's really just that.
Yeah, no. Well, that's enough of the serious business. Let's fucking party.
Yeah.
All right, and I think that sounds like I said, as good a place as any to close out the session. You guys have met. You investigated the site. You have met with the Nomads, and you have your plan to go forward to find these dastardly Mandalorians.
Dastardly.
So
We
I
have
can tell
that.
you that you guys are firmly now in. So I called each phase of this adventure steps.
Mhm.
It's like a path. So step 1 was the fossil forest, as you guys kind of went north. Now we are clearly in step 2, Men of Iron.
Fun.
It's a double entendre.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
Wait, what was this
okay.
called now?
Men of Iron.
Oh,
Yeah.
Man of Iron. Okay.
Yeah. Step 1 is fossil forest. Step 2 is Men of Iron. Step 3, when we get there, is called Crown of the World.
Gee, I wonder why.
Soz, EXPs. There weren't any like serious fights or anything, but you guys did basically do all the stuff to fix up and recover your ice crawler and drive it here. And
We did two
while
things.
not
We did dinner.
firmly, you have like basically negotiated the outline of your agreement with the Nomads to help you out.
Mhm.
So we can call it a 10 base. I will say I don't know if necessarily anybody went crazy on their motivations tonight, because this was a lot of soft investigating and occasionally hitting things with wrenches and spanners.
Yeah.
It was a lot of setup for what we're gonna do next session. We're probably doing a lot of actual like getting things done.
Well, at the very least, you're gonna have some kind of encounter with some, like I said, some ice pirates.
Yeah.
Whether Aramaa, like she said, gives them the gentle way or the hard way, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
And then maybe find their camp before the session ends, and then actually do it.
I mean, yeah, no, we can probably like you guys are on especially when you're on speeder bikes, we can absolutely like you guys can check in with the. I would like to, for pacing purposes, if you guys don't actually like go out and do the finding, if you like yak a lot with locals, as tends to happen, that's okay. I did a lot of expedition jumps too. I'm not throwing anything. But I would like you, if not, you have not literally found it, you've at least like organized everybody and are ready to go out to find it.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, there's a whole other step after this.
Yeah.
But also, no, this is a full blown step. This is like, yeah.
I wonder if like me kind of being a little hard about my idea of like a gut feeling about like it has to be like a Death Watch
Well,
thing.
so this is why I very carefully phrased it as I did not confirm or deny, because
Yes.
it's one of those things where, yes, it was actually Mandalorians the whole time, but I didn't want to accidentally give it away because I had not actually said it. Because you could argue the flamethrowers are almost like a double blind. Like, yes, there are Mandalorians with jetpacks involved, but also there's flamethrower droids.
Yeah, where it's like I was just wondering if like me doing that qualifies for motivation or not. So I'm not sure. Like just all my
Your
actions.
motivation is the mission? Nah, I don't.
Try to figure it out. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like, if anything, your mission-y bits would be like your. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to try and like force anybody to be uncomfortable to get extra XP, but like focusing on the mission, that would have been if like you had got up in the middle of the night and drove some anyway, right? Even though Aramaa said they were gonna rest or something, like
I
if
was
you had
considering it, but
figured out a good way to
cause
figure out how to
actual
push
problem.
on without to keep going forward. But I don't think there are any like really good opportunities, because like I said, you have to take significant. You have to have the potential for significant risk or like major opportunities, and you choose to go with your motivation to actually activate it. But also, I'm not going to be so crazy as to be like, no, you have to defy your boss's orders and challenge your physical safety to get 5 experience points. I'm not that crazy, but if you do that, that is definitely worth an extra EXP.
Fair enough.
Just mind, I might punch you in the morning.
Yeah,
I mean, an Aramaa, you're... What's your motivation? People are
it's-
counting on me?
people are counting.
Nah.
I don't think you're there yet.
Yeah.
No,
We
like
are entering the phase where Aramaa realizes people are counting on her,
yeah.
but she has not
the-
yet done anything about people who are counting on her.
Yeah.
No, this is me like half the session is like, man, I really wish I had my tanks filled with fucking food, medicine, and parts. That'd be really great right now.
Oh yeah, you would have. I know. I understand. I was actually quite shocked when I rolled like. I think I rolled like 2 double failure purple dice on the guy's pilot check, and I'm just like, wow, he rolled really good, but he still failed by like with like 3 failures showing. So yeah, no, he's late. They're slow.
It's like,
It's like-
Oops. Like I
Oops,
can
all
tell you
ice.
that the generic clone like vehicle pilot stat line I have for like tanks and stuff is like 2 yellows and a green, and it still was like, wow, okay, no, I didn't go well.
It,
Shit.
it happens, sadly.
It's just
Well, yeah, as you guys saw rolling that perception check earlier, geez.
Oh yeah, that was
it's
fun.
just where it's like, man, it would have been fun to have like all the nomads partying and Noramafu and so proud of herself for being like, I did it. Plan
Yeah.
change.
But
oh.
hey, they said that they're going to be there for several days, if not a week, right?
Yeah.
Like this is like they probably do these big gatherings like once every
Month or two.
season, like every 2 or 3 months maybe.
Gotcha.
So it's just like, oh, get together, like, hey, how are you doing? What are you seeing, etc., etc.
What are you
Fill up
working
on
on?
water,
Do you have
fill up
anything
on
to trade?
fuel. What's the
Yeah,
hubbub?
water, fuel, etc.
Small talk, jives,
So they got something
You
to
know,
post.
boasting.
occasionally if there's something like really big to bring down, like neither the nomads or the spring folk probably go crazy with this because it's more resources than we needed. But like for instance, if there was like a pod of Anura whales in the watering hole when they stopped here, they would probably try to take a whale. Just because otherwise you have to wait for them to basically beach themselves and die naturally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, they're giant fuck off whales though, so like this
A lot of stuff.
So I wanted to, and I'll keep this on mic too. I wanted to like talk about these cultures and like I want to avoid a couple of things. Like I keep talking about this. I want to avoid the idea that these guys are like somehow like truly backwards, right? Like even the spring folk probably understand a lot of technological concepts. It's just their way of life doesn't support being technical, right?
Like, there's no reason to depend on an environmental computer if you have to learn to teach your kid how to do it yourself anyway.
Yeah, no. Like if you're like even the spring folk probably don't have a lot of like electric heaters or anything because well what if it breaks? Well, we aren't in our little like fortified mobile rolling workshop. We can fix it. There's no point. We'll just make a fucking lamp.
Yeah.
So I don't want these people to seem backwards, and also I don't want to necessarily make these guys seem like pioneer age or industrial revolution age like American humans who are like, yeah, oh, we're gonna kill all the buffalo and slurp all the oil out of the ground, right? Like, these people live according to their environment and the technological they can get to. So it's not like they're not like rampantly killing whales for fun because there's no heavy industry in like whale oil or whatever, right?
I'm trying to remember for like the name for like Alaskan tribes and stuff.
Inuit?
Yeah, Inuit. It reminds me of like
Inuit's one of them.
tribes,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
There's definitely a little bit of Inuit and other Arctic Circle tribe inspiration, and some of the like Siberian peoples as well. Like there's a very specific way you live when it's cold, and these guys have access to technology because they're descended from fucking interstellar colonists, right?
You can have your shit.
So yeah, they came here in spaceships. They're not, humans are not native to Soholiv in that way. I don't even know. I don't know what it's like in Canada. I think the idea was vaguely that the planet that became Coruscant was supposed to be like the human homeworld or something, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't even know where humans are from.
Humans are from another point entirely, but yeah.
Yeah, there's been some waffling on that. Humans are decently spread out. We can't like point to one homeworld like how Duros are from Duro or Mon Calamari are from Mon Cala, kind of a thing. But anyway, so they're space colonists, right? They understand high tech shit. Like you can probably find some of these like the more technical minded ones who like understand basic principles of like hyperdrives and stuff because they still have all their old tech manuals and they try to keep their knowledge alive. Just they've never seen a hyperdrive in their entire gosh darn life.
Because you usually haven't needed one or had one function.
Yeah, so like I don't want to make these guys seem like they're raping and pillaging Mother Nature or anything. Not that fucking Soholiv's nature needs defending at this point. Because Soholiv itself has tried to almost literally eat you guys at a couple of points already.
It's like
I'm waiting for the shade worm just to pop out of the watering hole, but like I'm back.
Listen, I can't wait. Y'all know I love Dune. I can't wait to make a worm sign joke.
I just can't wait for like if we ever go to find the Mandalorians in the caves and then suddenly a fucking shade worm shows up and it's all of us fucking running as we're shooting at each other.
You guys fight them in like a cave or something and it's a fucking dragon. Turns out there's a dragon sleeping inside it. Yeah, it's a classic move.
Where it's like, oh, okay, let's retreat to get breathed on.
I'm not running. There's no run.
Yeah.
There's only punch.
Fair enough.
So yeah, like, but these people also probably engage in trades that, to our modern listeners and viewers, would be like a little like, they hunt whales. Well, yeah, no, a whale is a giant blob of fats and meat. Why wouldn't you hunt a whale if you need to eat to live?
Also, because of solo environments, there's a fuck ton of them. In most cases.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's no serious predators to something that will be whale sized.
At least in this area.
Like a shade worm could probably fight a whale, but shade worms are amphibious in a different way.
They probably just eat like a fucking tundra.
Actually, hell, like these guys could probably describe to you like how a shade worm works. They're probably reptomammals. Like you said, there's been, Europa would point out there's evolutionary links to like the structure of like a shadow snake to a shade worm, but the locals describe it as like no. Shade worms live in the ice and they tunnel through like the tundral ice. And that's how they keep themselves warm, kind of like the borets you met earlier. And they will absolutely burst out of the ice or like make a new ice hole to like eat a couple nomads or like prey upon a cluster of tundra striders. But they're not really that much faster or more mobile in the actual water, and to them that would be probably a little cold. You guys hear that shade worms are actually like they're not fire breathing dragons, but they do have some kind of toxic bite or acidic like vomit that they will sometimes like spit out acid or poison to like melt ice, and they are not afraid to use it as a surprise defense mechanism. Definitely not taking my cues from the crate dragon they showed in episode 1 of season 2 of The Mandalorian, which also breathed stomach acid at people.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it just reminds me. It just makes me think of like when I played Monster Hunter and all those Arctic levels of all those kind of things, where it's like it has stuff for like getting through rock or like or ice.
Well, hey, I'm glad I can get that feel because I'm not a Mon Hun guy, but like I think there are some universal qualities to giant monster design.
Yeah.
Yeah, because nature's nature. Like,
sometimes. All right, so we've done a little bit of post show. We've bandied about. I think everybody talked about. The actual ice worms from Subnautica Below Zero were also an inspiration, though I decided not to go the how those guys work, and you can see it on the assuming Lucky is still rolling video because I haven't done an outro. You guys can see the ice worm that has a superheated spear blade at the front of its face. Is how it cuts through ice.
I wonder
which
how
is
that
also horrifying.
That's kind of horrifying. It's like how do you keep your body retained that way?
Calories.
A lot of, I guess, it eats a lot.
I believe that the ice worms in Subnautica they're apex predators, and they are aggressive ones.
Fair enough, because they probably need to or they die.
You're pretty sure, again, shade worms are also probably big eaters, but they're prefer to be, because they're evolutionary linked to shadow snakes, which are a kind of sea serpent, which Aramaa has already punched. They are absolutely like patience-based stealth hunters. Like they will burrow up under a thin sheet of ice when they like know a herd of tundra striders is nearby, and they'll just fucking chill out in their snug little. Because again, guys, actually, if you solid ice is better insulated than liquid water.
Yeah.
So like they will actually sit there and be warm and wait for prey, and then they'll just bust out and be like, "Surprise, bitches!" Nom. And then they'll slither back away.
This land are just fucking ambush hunters that you hate so much.
You gotta be smart.
Oh, the fucking ice worm was based off the bobbit worm. Wild.
Yeah, it's a real life creature that does. They're crazy. All right, so we've done all that. No, I think duty or anything yet, but. Yeah. Since you guys have confirmed enemy action, it is entirely possible to get some duty out of this.
Duty.
Of which Aramaa is probably the easiest to rig up, but you never know. You could have some stuff.
Yes,
I hear you have been attacked by my enemy forces. Please take these disaster supplies. Free rice.
I will help all of my brothers that are here. Wait, they're late.
Yeah, they are a little late.
Oh, man.
But all right, so I think that's about the wrap-up point. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, grabbing all that, and I think we will see you guys next time. Everybody say goodbye now. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.